Hello, everybody. I am Holly, aka the ScientoloGeek, and I am honored to say that I am here today with Amir Isali. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Yeah, you did a great job.
Perfect. But for those of
Honored
you
to
who
honored to be with you as well.
honored to be with you too. For those of my audience who may not be familiar with you, could you give a brief little explanation of who you are and what brings you to the dark side?
To the dark side, yeah. Well, first of all, hi everyone, and thank you for even, taking your time to just listen to me blabber on. Um, Basically, my name's Amir, and I was an executive staff member in Scotland, in the capital city, Edinburgh. So the org there is called Happy, or the Hubbard Academy of Personal Independence, and it was the first ever advanced organization, or they might call it an AO, that was established in 1968. So I was on staff for 2 years. I held two executive positions. My first job was literally holding 1/3 of the fucking org, where I had to keep them viable and surviving and make enough money for them to pay the bills every single week. So I had to fundraise thousands and thousands of pounds or dollars. Um, so yeah, but up until 3 weeks ago, I left after I think becoming the first ever exec staff member to just speak to a declared suppressive person on the internet without any permission. After that, I underwent 2 weeks of psychological and physical torture, where I got put in heavy manual labor for hours and hours and hours all day without any pay, which is essentially just slavery. And yeah, here I am sitting with you right now.
I was gonna say, how much of the OEC volumes did you have to read in order to hold that HES post?
Absolutely none of them. No, I didn't read any.
What kind of training did they have you do for this?
Do you know, I had this conversation with quite a few people and I was just fascinated by the whole thing. But they give you like a tip, what's called a tip, right? And it's basically when you get employed there or when you're working or when you get like a job title in an office, they give you a program of courses you need to do to be fully trained or fully qualified for it. And so yeah, I they just stuck me in there and they thought, Amir's very good socially and he, can probably sell. So immediately I joined. They made me what's a flag trained reg, or a registrar is just a salesman. But I didn't do any OEC. I didn't do any of that stuff at all. They just put me in and said, "Good luck, buddy."
Talk about making it go right. Fuck.
Exactly. Yeah.
But how long were you on that post before they switched you over to Div 6A?
I was on post there 2024, or 20 end of 2023, and then just before the IS event last year, I basically just had a meeting with the executive director, Malcolm, and the ED said, listen, our goal is to go ideal this year to move into this enormous empty building that they have called an ideal org. And so you have statistics, very good statistics in that area. And we need to essentially create as many new Scientologists as possible. So for strategic reasons, I will do the HES stuff and I'm going to put you into Division 6A. So then at that moment in time, I went to the IS event, I went to France for some more IES stuff, came back, and then as soon as I came back, they gave me the job title public contact secretary, where my job was through social media and any means necessary, creating as many new Scientologists as possible.
Were you happier being on that post? Sorry, were you happier? My wife is
That's
raging in the
okay.
background. Were you happier being on that post, or would you have actually preferred to be an HES?
Oh, I was so happy to get off the HES post. I can't even see in my first ever staff meeting, I kid you not. I got up and I said, "Hello everyone. My name's Amir. These are my statistics. This is my percentage. And if I become a chain smoker, you know why. That was the first thing I said in my first FME, because
Oh my
it was, do you know what? See, when you get put in a job with so much responsibility and you literally have to keep that org surviving every single week to pay its bills, and staff pay is on your shoulders, which never happens. The staff didn't get paid at all. But when you are tasked with that and you don't have any staff, and then you get these just outrageous numbers and targets you have to do, like 300 calls per week, I think it was. So and so letters going out, and then all these different. Plus, you're over what's called HCO, so you're over ethics, you're over recruitment, and there's no one there. There's no one there, so you have to wear all the hats and do all the jobs yourself and rush around and like day in foundation and schedules, it just goes out the fucking window, and you end up doing over 100 hours per week. And I ended up adding up the hours on my phone just to see how much I was doing. So it's the Sea Org had it better because the Sea Org would at least get paid, whereas I didn't get paid and I
we
was doing it for
think
100
we
hours.
think the Sea Org would get paid.
Yeah, exactly.
But shit, I was just gonna say something.
There you go, though. There's the conditions for you.
Lost it. Oh, oh, that's what I was gonna ask. Since you were dealing with all of the, so for people who don't know what an HCO executive secretary is, what divisions do they oversee?
And only two. So the other executive secretaries would hold the other thirds, 1/3 of the organization, and they would have three. They're like three divisions. It could be the technology, then it could be treasury and handling the finance, and then it could be the qual division, which is correction and all that kind of stuff. I only had two. I had HCO, Hubbard Communications Office, and then I had Division 2, which we'll get into in this video as well, which is dissemination. So all of the products are essentially what you're supposed to get in that division of dissemination is books sold. So you have statistics in these areas. I had 16 statistics, but the two main ones in Division 2 were GBS, which I think it was gross book sales. So that's all the money you made from selling L. Ron Hubbard books, lectures, and whatnot. And then there was GI, gross income, I believe it was. So yeah, you had to make all the money basically and keep them surviving every single week, which is it just became like the Wolf of Wall Street, honestly. It's so intense.
Sorry, give me 1 second. I just gotta let my dog.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Hello to anybody watching this in the chat, by the way. I don't think I can pull up the chat on this. But hello anyway. I seen one person that was waving, and I'm gonna say hello to that person. I wish I could pull up the chat on this. Or maybe I'm just being a complete idiot.
So then that kind of worrying about all the finances and stuff, that kind of plays into something I was learning about back in 2024. I was going over the finance series, and I was learning all about bean theory and all of I
was on that course.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. Because it's like with this, when you're on course, this is a question. When you're on course, are you allowed to have like a notebook off to the side where you can like take notes and shit? Or do they like look down on that or what? Or do they expect you to just know it as soon as you read it?
Oh my God, do you know what? It just depends on who the supervisor is or who the soup is. I would do that with certain people and they'd be totally fine with it. And I would also get them points. Because you get points for sketching on the point sheet. So I used to do lots of sketches and notes, and I had a problem with the retention of information and whatnot. Even after the student, I still had a problem with this kind of stuff. But if you have like a flag trained supervisor, then they'll go down on you like a ton of bricks and they'll say, no, that's not standard. No, he's not doing it properly. And then they will nail you for it and just scar you for the rest of your life. And so you won't do it in front of him again. So it just depends on who's souping you.
I think that's so stupid though, because based on the research that I've already done on Hubbard's doctrine and just trying to do that, that was the first series where I actually tried to like compile comprehensive notes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I found this little piece about the FBO in I don't know, policy number 6 or whatever. I found another bit about the FBO and the DFBO for more over in fucking like policy 12. So now I got to compile that over to policy 6 and like pulling all of the pieces from the fucking web is a nightmare. I don't know how y'all fuckers do it in the course room. Like, I'd be sent to ethics fucking immediately because my stats would be so goddamn low.
Right. Absolutely.
But it's maddening. It's fucking maddening.
It is. For sure.
But
course room's a hell of a place. My God, I've got so many stories from the course room. The course room is just utter chaos. And the thing is, like, the Oregon Scotland is not yet ideal. So you've got like this brand new guy who wants to learn about how to maybe handle his marriage in some kind of way, and then gets indoctrinated into doing this course, comes into the course and does this course, and then you've got kids doing what's called training drill 7 to your 7, forcing each other physically to try and touch this side of the wall and that side of the wall, and it's just an absolute circus to watch.
So since it's not ideal, is there oh wait, so they're doing the upper indoc TRs in the same course room.
Same course room.
So you're sitting there trying to study about your marriage, and you're hearing some motherfucker yell like, "Get in that chair!" And oh my God, how is that not off policy?
Yeah, exactly. Talking to an ashtray. A guy could come in and start doing a communications course. He's like, I want to practice my communication, and then he sits down, and then like even like at the very beginning of the communications course where you just have to sit down and be able to like look at someone or whatever, like you could hear someone doing their quads, which is like level 0, and so they sit down and you could hear these guys in session talking about sadism, because you have to be able to talk about any subject. So yeah, or you could, I don't know, you might come in and want to do a finance course or something, and then you just see this kid in the corner playing with clay, making all these clays and the supervisor's like, flunk. So yeah, it's not ideal at all.
I was gonna say, do you think the course room kind of stopped any of the public from becoming full bodies in the shop?
Oh, do you know what's funny? That statistic's actually changed. Apparently, it's a new statistic. I believe so, from what I can recall. But yeah, supervisors did that all the time, for sure. I mean, I remember I was doing a course. I was doing staff TRs because it was part of my program. It was part of my tip. I was doing staff TRs with my senior, who was the public executive secretary over all 3 of the public divisions. And I remember she burst out crying just because she was like, the supervisor's doing such a bad job with this new guy. So yeah, they used to get told off for that all the time.
What's the difference between staff TRs and like regular upper indocs? Or just a regular communications course?
Good question. Staff TRs is for staff, of course, and it's not on everyone's program. You have to be you have to do a very specific poster job to even have that on your tip in the first place. But you have all the pro TRs, you have all the upper induct TRs, and then additionally you have something called admin TRs or administration TRs. That I've never done before. But yeah, that's the only difference, and a fuck ton of checkouts and clays.
Ugh.
Yeah.
God. Got any other good stories from the course room that you want to share?
Oh man, do you know what? The best way to sum up the course room is it's just an absolute circus. It's an absolute circus, and you're studying, and then you've got a guy talking to an ashtray, and then a kid playing with clay, and then guys in session at the bottom of the course room talking about sadism and prostitution and whatnot, because they're doing a very specific level on the bridge where they have to be able to talk about any subject freely and not have it be uncomfortable. Then you've got another guy off to the right hand side who's staring at this guy deep into his eyes for 2 hours to get a pass by the supervisor. Then there's no staff at all, so there's only one supervisor who has to hover around the different parts and coach all of this kind of stuff. But it was just a circus. It was just a circus, and there was a lot of, you know, silly things. I have so many traumatic experiences from word clearing alone. I mean, honestly, like, because L. Ron Hubbard wrote a lot of this shit in like the 50s and 60s, and it's very specific language. The way that he talks, and even like Dianetics, when you're studying Dianetics or the book, it's 1950s American way of speaking, and it's difficult. And so you might just say, supervisor, I don't quite understand this part. And he would say, okay, I'm going to check which word you don't understand. What does this word mean? What does this word mean? And he might do that on the meter. I don't know if you guys have ever seen what an e-meter looks like. I'm just assuming you have, but you might do it on the meter, right? You got it.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah. So you might.
And I got a drill sim downstairs.
Exactly. So you might be put on that. And then, you know, he can you imagine reading a page or a book, and then the supervisor says, what's the definition of and? What does and mean? And then you're like, and? Well, and if you stutter or you don't give there's a list. Ron Hubbard basically did a policy, which is also in the student hat. There's a list of misunderstood words. If you stumble on it, or if you give a wrong definition for a word, or you don't finish it, or you invent a definition, then they're going to say that's a misunderstood word. And so you might just have to clear up the word and, or I, or be, because you haven't satisfied him with that at all. So that definitely traumatized me a lot, and it would just completely put you off from asking the supervisor for his help in any way.
Well, I was gonna say, how often were you like faking your happiness and pretending to move along in your studies just to get them off your back?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, OWs are the same. You know, when you have to write confessionals, overts and withholds, ethics is the exact same. Meters, word clearing is the exact same. And you know, you can like just you could be a legit like actually happy and say, "Oh my God, wow, that's I didn't know that before." Like that's I got it. And then he looks at the meter and says,
No, you don't got
keep
it.
keep going." So yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just an absolute pain in the ass.
Jesus. Well, either way, I'm glad you escaped the hell over there. But no, I was gonna say since, and I know I'm circling back to
That's okay.
HES.
Yeah.
How many posts were you holding from above at that point?
Oh, fucking loads. I mean,
because if you're holding that many posts, then how is it reasonable for them to expect you to get those stats up on every single one of those posts when every single one of those posts, if they had people in it, they'd all be focused on that one specific job. They'd all be getting their stats to whatever fucking level they could, but you're splitting your attention between so many different fucking things. How do they expect you to get the stats up? But that's a dumb question. Never mind. Make it go right. Sorry.
It's okay. No. You're totally right. You're totally right. There's a policy. There's a reference by LRH by Hubbard. Admin Know-How Series number 26. Get the fucking job done. And it talks about dealing with situations in juniors on a phase 2 basis and on a phase 1 basis. Phase 1 is just, you've just put someone in the area and then you just have to get it done. Somehow just make it go right. And he says as well that in this reference by LRH, the test of a being, or the test of a thetan, and he also says the test of a great executive is the ability to make it go right. So that's really all it was. And it was just as they would say in their terminology, totally out reality. It's just not realistic in any way, shape, or form. And Yeah, those were just very dark days for sure, for sure. It's just you can't have fun, you know. It's an unbelievable amount of stress to do all these jobs and functions by yourself. Like imagine just doing CF, like central files, filing stuff and giving files. That's a full-time job. And then you have to do that in like this claustrophobic closed room that's freezing cold. It's the coldest room in the entire org by yourself. There's no Wi-Fi there. You can't really like play Spotify or like, you know, and put stuff away and whatnot. Um, but it's just, yeah, they're just Mongols. It's just pure organization, man. It's just pure management. They don't know what they're doing.
I was gonna say, how bad was your pending basket when you were
Oh
there?
Lord. Oh my God. Yeah. And then yeah, and my juniors would go and do inspections and whatnot. But the ED was the same. The other guys, you know, the deputy ED, all these guys were the exact same. Their baskets weren't like nice and clean and up to date, and they're handling communications and dispatches immediately. Like, just no, no, no
Things
one was
things are
like
just
that.
going in the round file.
Exactly.
But I was gonna say, because now I'm so sorry that I keep bouncing around the topics.
It's okay. That's totally fine.
But now I'm just thinking about just your experience with the financial planning meetings. Like, all right,
Oh,
wait, I remember
yeah.
this. You mentioned that you skipped out on some of your 6 meetings a day. What are these meetings? Because I know you have your financial planning on what, Thursday or nights or Fridays or some shit like that. And
Yeah.
then you got to go through the advisory council, the executive council, and then you go through the FBO, I believe. Um, but
Yeah.
then you get the meetings with those councils. Let me. I can go on for hours on different branching paths. I'll just ask the question: what meetings were you participating in?
All of them. All of them. When I was the AGS, when I had that much responsibility to keep the org surviving and viable every single week, all of them. I just get so pissed off about it because how are you supposed to do all of these jobs when there's no staff and then you've got a gazillion meetings you have to go to every day, and it's like it just it shows the poor management of everything, and it's just what's the point? Like we just what did one, two, and three miss? Why do we need four, five, and six? What did one and two miss? You know, it's just and you know it's just and for me to sum up those meetings, and I used to take the piss out of those meetings all the time, especially when we were doing like a communications course, and I was able that policy that L. Ron Hubbard wrote about jokers and degraders, that went out the window for me. I was always impersonating executives and taking the piss. Always. Even at the IS event, I would do that. Um, but those meetings are just, you know, they're held upstairs and you've got all the top executives there and they're just planning and coordinating now and the future and how you fucked up and how you didn't do this, now you didn't get your stats up and what's the handling and it's just absurd. Like, who are you preaching to? These guys don't know their jobs. They're not hatted. They haven't done their own hat packer, their job. They don't know what they're doing. They're being given orders and instructions, but they haven't read any of the policies or whatever. They haven't studied their own job or hat. And so you're just lecturing them. And who you're being lectured by is these new hotshot OECFEBC guys. So the OECFEBC guys were basically stands for Organization Executive Course and the Flag Executive Briefing Course. These guys were away for 3 years training at Flag, which is apparently the mecca of Scientology and the super standard stuff. So that's who you're getting lectured by. But it's honestly, it's just a load of bollocks. And it just wastes an absurd amount of time having staff meeting and EC and product conference and all of this bollocks, where you just go up, get shouted at and told why you didn't do the job that you're supposed to do, and then go and do this, and then it's just a load of bollocks, and it just shows and highlights their poor management and organization.
So then if you say you attended all of these meetings every day, how much time would that leave you to get actual work done?
Like 2 hours or an hour.
Oh my god.
It's like
Holy shit.
nothing.
And how
It's
many of
like,
those fucking meetings could have just been an email? Or sorry,
yeah,
telex,
yeah,
whatever the fuck.
exactly. Or it could have been like a 2-minute conversation. What's the plan today? Okay, great. Do you need any help? Do you need any resources? Okay, good. So you've got everything under control. Great, go do that. Or what did you run into today? Oh, well, I had some difficulty with this. All right, okay, well, listen, let's practice for 5 minutes. You feel good about it? Good. Right, cool. Like there's so many of this stuff, and it's not just meetings and whatnot. I remember a time where I had a loss in the family, and then I basically was away. There's a family member that died, and that was detrimental to me. And then I was away for nearly 2 months. The only text messages I was getting was, I mean, some people checked in, but mostly it was when you coming back, when you coming back, when you coming back, and then I eventually returned on a gradient. Like over time, I didn't just rush back into that schedule. But then I was practicing and drilling with someone whose job is called their post title is called the LC or the LRH communicator. And I remember she told me how I was so down tone, and so I was bringing the group down with like just how I was, my emotional state at that time. And I burst out, and she was like trying to get me back, and I burst out, cried in the bathroom, spent a good while in the bathroom, and I was considering leaving at that point. I was considering it. But then anyway, I came back up. You got two staff members waiting outside. I got taken upstairs, and then for the next hour, I'm going over third party law and what did I hear bad about her, and what have staff members said that was
Oh.
bad about this person, and it's just like,
Never mind the
what?
fact that she was just being a bitch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. It's just inhumane. I actually I said this to Alex, apostate Alex recently. I got a knowledge report written on me because I called the LC a fucking robot. Yeah,
Oh
it's in
my
my ethics
god.
file. But again, do you see like the handling? Like I went and spoke to Alex, and through their brain cells came to the conclusion. Also, the Office of Special Affairs, which is like the fact that a religion would even have like a CIA intelligence area baffles me. But also, and the ED, the executive director, the boss, okay, would come to the conclusion with their brain cells that the reason I spoke to this guy was because I had a misunderstood word on an L. Ron Hubbard policy.
Oh fucking
So
sake.
the handling was to create a 1 month ethics program and stick him on hard manual labor, take him off his job to let that division crash. And then what happens? I fucked off. I left. I left the next day publicly. I said, I'm not going back. And this is what happened to me for talking to this guy. So do you see it's one flew over the cuckoo's nest, and they're like these guys. I don't know what's going on up here, but this OEC, FEBC, flag train, super standard, genius, clear, superpower. It's a load of bollocks, and they really they're not human beings. They're not caring people that know how to handle these at times very simple situations. And so it's no wonder that they're fucking declining and whatnot.
So wait, so while you were on the messed work and the manual labor, whatever you were doing for your ethics program,
Yeah.
what was happening to your post? Because I would think that the org can't function with that post gone.
Uh-huh.
So
Mhm,
who was
mhm.
taking it? Was it the ED?
No, not at all. I mean, the ED is dealing with the other side because there's no one on the other side either.
Oh my
But
god.
I mean, that it just crashed. It just crashed completely. It just completely crashed. And you had, you'd have to call in public to come and help, giving out promo and flyers on the streets. You would have to get a guy who's project prepare. Okay, so you've got this guy to sign up for staff, but he can't join immediately, so he's going to join in like 2 months. You'd have to get him and just say, "Fuck, Amir's left, and he's totally ditched us. We got to have you now." you like they go into panic mode, but I mean that area is completely crashed. I actually went by not too long ago and I seen the exact person who was, and it was just literally, it was really sad. It was just one person on the street giving out flyers and whatnot. But that area has completely crashed. Completely. I mean, there is no fucking way they go ideal this year. Unless they import people from different AOs, different advanced organizations, or different people across the world, which I think they already do. Apparently that's already a method, but that is the only way I promise you they would even go ideal. But yeah.
How much money does your specific organization have to raise in order to go ideal?
Oh, a week.
Just overall for the purchase and the renovation of the building. How much is needed?
Nothing anymore. Nothing anymore. So they did all the fundraising. They bought that building, I believe it was in 2017. It's right next to Murrayfield Stadium. Murrayfield Stadium is the rugby stadium in Scotland. Whenever Taylor Swift would come over or Harry Styles would come over for a concert, it would be in Murrayfield Stadium. And so that's where the ideal org is. And it's also next to like a university college accommodation and whatnot. But I believe that building was purchased in 2017. And so they did all the fundraising at that time. After that, the IES took over. And so it is now an IES sponsored ideal org. So the IES will now be paying for any renovations or whatever. So they don't have to fundraise for it anymore.
That's actually kind of shocking to hear on my end. I would have expected that y'all would have been responsible for regging the public for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, how many public did you really have in Scotland?
Oh, so I believe the people that you would have coming in on course is about 30 people a week coming in on course, I believe. And I believe that the only people that you could actually get started on a course, like new people, would be one or two, mostly zero. So that org is dying. It's not.
Sounds like it's already almost dead.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. It's doing pretty bad.
Wow. Okay. Anywho, I could, like I said, I could go on for hours, but this video is about Scientology's video propaganda and not life on staff. That'll be a separate thing. And I'm sure I'll have a million more questions to ask you.
For sure.
So actually, before I start, I do have some questions from the side chat.
Oh yeah, let's see what the peeps are saying.
I'm just gonna say hello to everybody because
for sure. Yeah.
What happened to the American Devante from Dublin org?
Oh, I don't know him. I don't know.
Hello, Style Audit. Sorry, we can't answer your question. Let me see. Didn't Amir have a Net Nanny app on his devices? I feel like that was the 90s, right? When they were doing that with like Netscape Navigator and shit.
Yeah. I got asked about that very recently, and from my knowledge, it's not a thing, especially with staff. And I made sure that nobody checked my phone, even when I was still an executive there, and I was like watching all these interviews or reading Mike's book A Billion Years or reading Mark Rathbun's blog or whatever. I just made sure that I didn't talk about it, and I made sure that nobody could check my phone. And so
when did you start looking into N Theta?
When I got into Division 6, when I got posted into the public divisions, and then I was tasked with meeting new people and also dealing with the TikTok page and having to get as many new people in as possible via different social media platforms. Just people would comment stuff, and I'm fascinated and so curious, and I like to consider myself as a pretty open-minded guy. So that's when I basically just went down the rabbit hole, and then eventually spoke to Alex and kind of set out this test to see, well, all right, well, let's see. Obviously I'm reading about disconnection, and I'm reading about abuse, and I'm reading about peers turning on others, and hardcore ethics and whatnot. So all all right, I'm going to speak to this guy and I'm going to see what happens. There's no way that they're going to kick out their highest producing Division 6 staff member who has raised so much money for them in the IES. There's no way they're going to do that. And then, yeah, I went through it for 2 weeks and then I was like, I'm telling you, like 1 day of hard manual labor in the Life Improvement Center where you have to bring weights up and down spiral stairs for hours and hours and hours. I was like lying on the floor dead, and I was like, fuck that.
Wait, you're just bringing weights up and down the stairs as like a
Yeah.
workout routine, basically, an extreme workout routine.
Oh my God. Okay, so so Happy is a very, very old building, and it was the first ever AO in 1968. So it's ancient, that building. Okay, and there's a lot of spiral stairs that go. I mean, literally underground, they do the ghost tours in Edinburgh. It goes all the way down spiral and then all the way up. And so the weights I'd have to carry are when they would go out and sell books, and they would have to set up the tent and whatnot, and they'd have to put weights down to keep the tent stable and not moving. Those were the multiple weights that I had to grab and take upstairs, up and down, and set stuff up. And they were like, Amir, we want you to help in the renovations without any pay, no pay at all, and just pain and help these guys. And it was just 1 day of that. I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back.
Fuck that. Yeah, that's sounds fucking brutal. I would have thought though, like, did they have you like scrubbing the fucking bathrooms with toothbrushes and shit?
Oh, I had to do that anyway. I had to do that because you get given your cleaning stations, and so you have to clean the toilets, and you have to clean the purif and the sauna, and you have to clean the public reception area, and you white glove inspections, and you have to dust everything down, and you get given a enormous manual on using newspapers to clean windows and
What is it?
yeah,
What is it? Ammonia or vinegar? I'm trying to remember.
ammonia. Yeah.
Oh God. When did you first start looking into anti-content? When did you start questioning?
Oh,
When
yeah, that's a good question. Um, Fuck, you know what? It's really hard to pin it down. I was doing my research like I'll kind of not telling anybody and just I'd go to the org and then someone would say David Miscavige, and then I found David to be really interesting, and I was very close to meeting him last year. And in fact, my first dispatch, I have a letter from David Miscavige actually. But I'd just go and I would do research on him and then find it so fascinating about people that like we're talking about people that actually worked with the guy, like multiple sources of people that worked at Gold Base or the international base
Mhm.
in California. So anyway, I was doing my research, and I guess it was the moment that I was like, no, was when I set that test out, and then I did the first ever interview with Alex. And then the treatment that I proceeded to get through those 2 weeks of multiple interrogations, being taken out of the course room, getting rid of my study time, booting me off post, that treatment for just having the human right to talk to anybody and having the freedom of speech to talk to anybody and deciding who you want to go and speak to. The treatment that I got for that was when they would say the word cognited. That was when I flipped and I was like, fuck that. Absolutely, I'm not. So literally what I did was I finished my day. I was on the phone to Alex and he said, dude, just walk out of there. You don't deserve any of that stuff. I went upstairs. I grabbed a grocery store bag. So there's a store in the UK called Sainsbury's. Okay, but I grabbed a grocery store bag from the kitchen, went upstairs to my office, put all my awards, my certificates, my commendations, my suit, my jacket, and my property and general belongings from my drawers and stuff. Went out the emergency exit so that the ED and the CR guys couldn't see me leave at reception. Went out the emergency exit, down the spiral stairs, crossed the road, jumped on the first bus home, and then I was like, Alex, let's do the video. And then, but that day was when I was like, the treatment for just talking to somebody, fuck that. fuck that. So that was it for me.
Were you worried at all about, like, being pulled back into the org if you had gone out the front?
Um, it wasn't that. It was more if they saw me, they would know. Like if they saw me leaving reception with a bag of all my clothes and belongings, they would know immediately. And I didn't want them to know until the video went out.
Mhm.
So I guess it was some sort of like advantage or whatever. But yeah,
I gotcha.
yeah.
Any insight into March 12th, March, I don't know if that's March 1st 2-year anniversary of Chicago org. I don't know anything about the Chicago org. I'd have to look more into it.
Yeah. I used to work directly with the Chicago org when I was doing all the TikTok.
Really? Why Chicago?
So I did a massive collaboration video, which I think you can pull up on the Chicago org TikTok, and it's also Minnesota posted it. But for the 75th year, for the 75th anniversary of Dianetics, which was last year, I basically I was in a massive group chat, which I've now been kicked out of, where I worked with Minnesota and I worked with San Francisco and I worked with Miami and I worked with, I mean, not everyone agreed to do this with me, but more orgs did. I eventually got 20 orgs to agree to do this collaboration video. And I think it was 13 different countries, which was a bitch to organize because of the different time zones and stuff. And essentially, the collaboration video was was like, why don't we throw the Dianetics book to each other around the
That was
world?
that one. Oh
That was
my
me.
God, I saw that.
That was me. Yeah. So I put myself
Holy
last
shit.
in that video. Yeah, yeah. I put myself last in that. So London throws it to me, and then I put it to the camera, and then that's it done. But you'd have to watch the entire video to see me at the very end. But that was me. I organized that whole thing in 3 days.
God damn.
It was a fucking pain in the ass, man, because people were like catching and receiving it the wrong way. And it was like different copies of Dianetics as well. And it'd be the hardback, and then it would fold when they catch it, and then the paperback, and then
And
oh
then,
my,
like,
and
the
it's
video quality sometimes, like, some of the orgs
yeah,
had really bad video quality.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And then, Greece would, I would say, Greece, you're going to pass it to Birmingham in England. And then they would say, I'm giving it to London. And I'd be like, no, you got to reshoot it, man. Come on. So, anyway, I took it for what it was worth and then I put it out there. But if I wanted that video to be perfect, it would not be 3 days. We'd still be shooting it right now.
Oh, Christ. Now that you're out, will you help others leave from Heather Mack? I mean, I
Yeah,
think you already fucking are, basically, just by
yeah.
speaking out in the first place.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Shout out to Heather, by the way. I love seeing what people are saying in the chat as well. Yeah, I have already. And do you know what, Heather, right? My original kind of goal for even
That's
talking to
what.
everybody and doing this was there's I got in and I had to get people in through mystery. And there's different policies by LRH about mystery language,
Mystery
about common
sandwich, yep.
dissemination, not answering anyone's questions and just being very mysterious about the whole thing. So I wanted to blow the mystery and fuck the magic tricks and smoke and mirrors and just tell you, guys, when you walk in, they will record on a clipboard. When you fill out the welcome form, they have your postcode, address, date of birth, name, full name, age, number, email. If you buy something, they will make a file of you where they can call you and call you and call you for years and years and years, try to get you in. I worked in that department, so I know the statistics in that area as well. Um, but that was my original purpose. But then, do you know when I left, I just had this ball of energy, and I would try and get my fucking mind off it and go to the movies or hang out with my friends. Or I've done a lot of traveling recently as well, which has been phenomenal. But then I remember I was like watching a film, and then I just got so bored. I picked up my phone and I sent the video that I did with Alex and some other people to people on the different group chats or people in the IS group chat or people that I got in personally. And they left. They left. They were like, Amir, I'm so horrified about the whole entire thing. And I'm really sorry that happened to you. And one guy who I haven't spoken to for ages He just he finished his purification rundown not too long ago. But I said, Amir, I seen you on YouTube and I'm wondering if you're okay. And I was like, oh, hey buddy, yeah, I'm okay. What's up? And I jumped on a phone call with him and he said, hey Amir, you just popped up on YouTube very randomly. And usually I wouldn't watch those kind of videos. But since it's you and I know you, I watched it. And then I watched the next one. And then I watched the next one after that. And I'm really, really sorry. And if you want to speak to anybody, I'm here. That shattered me completely. And then as I started to do more of these videos, people would reach out to me or my email, or they would reach out to Alex, and they would say, Alex, can you put me in touch with Amir? And then I would speak to all these guys on the phone, and then I'd be able to give them updates on their family. I was able to provide Claire Headley, an update about her uncle. I was able to provide just different family members, and I'd speak to somebody, and then I would name drop somebody, and then he'd go, "That's my mum," and I'd go, "What? Dude, I can send you your mum's birthday pictures in the org. I can send you your niece and nephew who are all grown up. I can tell you that your brother has now got a successful business, which, this is his business, this is what he's doing." And then he would say, Amir, stop, 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 stop. What you just told me in 10 minutes is more than I've known in 10 years about my family, and I'm forever in debt to you. And I was like, that, see, out of all the things that could have made me cry, I'm telling you, man, when you send someone a picture of his brother 10 years later, or his nieces and nephews who are grown up, and you see his reaction to those pictures, that is really, really hard to listen to or to see. So, yeah, I have helped people leave and provided updates to families. And that is one of the benefits of talking to you today and talking to people from all around the world, from the UK, from the US, from Australia, just to give these updates and how people are doing today. Because you know, I have at least 3, 4 years of experience, and I know what's going on today and future plans and whatnot. So I'm kind of in present time about the whole thing, which is, I guess, a benefit. But yes, I have. You'll be happy to hear that I have.
And when you were mentioning the response from that dude, first off, you told me he watched all 3 videos. How did he even justify that to himself in his Scientology bubble world? Like, how did he justify, oh, it's gonna be okay, I'll watch one video, or instead of just the thought policing?
Yeah. I mean, this guy specifically, he's just a spiritual guy. I mean, he likes me, as most of the public do, because I tried to be a normal human being, unlike the other guys who were just mostly command robots. And he was just a very spiritual guy, and he wasn't born or raised a Scientologist. He just came in, he did the purification rundown, he did a bunch of life improvement courses, and for all he knows, he's seen his friend talking on YouTube, and he was curious and wanted to see. And good on him, fucking good on him for doing it. And why not? Like, why not watch your friend on you? Why not watch these kind of videos? Why not be a truth seeker? I mean, L. Ron Hubbard says in the Data series, go out and get all the facts and get all the information. Don't just get one opinion about the whole damn thing. So, I mean, just even using L. Ron Hubbard technology or policy there, yeah, good on him, good on him. And I'm happy to people that are just general truth seekers and get both sides of the story. And, obviously me coming to learn about that, that is something that cults do. Is the control, and Steve Hassan does a phenomenal, he's done like, Steve is unbelievable. And his bite model is just will fucking blow you away if you haven't read it before. But it's the control of your identity, and it's not a mere, it's sir. Yes, sir. What do you need, sir? Okay, sir. Whatever you need, sir. I'll jump how high, sir. And so your name goes, then the uniform, then they take away your clothes and they stick the uniform on you, and that becomes your identity. Um, Steve gave me a really, really great analogy, and it was that isn't you, right? It's like that you are an actor and you're in a film and you got so lost in your role and your part. The film isn't real, it's not actually who you fucking are. So when you wake up and realize it's just a film and this is just a fake pretend role, and that's I don't know what does it for a lot of people. For me, it was certainly the harsh treatment. But yeah, I full respect to anybody that just wants to seek the truth and gets different perspectives and points of view. Guys that have worked with L. Ron Hubbard on the ship, guys that worked with David Miscavige for 10 years, guys like Marty Rathbun, who was the Inspector General of RTC, which is like the fucking second in command. Just to get these different points of view, and then you can start putting things together. So full respect to anyone that does that. And that certainly saved me for sure. For sure.
Style Audit says, have you seen the Wall Street Journal expose of the investment fraud being run with Chicago org staff?
Oh fuck! No,
I mean, I
haven't.
don't even know about that. What the fuck? Hold on. I'm almost. SEC probes Scientology connections at Dream Exchange. So some kind of stock exchange thing. I don't
Wow.
know.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I wouldn't. It doesn't surprise me either.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do we have any other
Yeah.
questions before we get started? It does not look like it. Puerto Rico org is supposed to have a ribbon ceremony this month, and no date is set for it. Only 2 weeks left. Good luck, Puerto Rico.
Well, yeah. Just before I left, they were talking about that actually. I believe that the opening was on Sunday, yesterday. But obviously what they do with this kind of stuff is they put it on a disc or a CD, send that to the different orgs who will then play it, probably keep it for about a week. They'll play it, they'll get all of their public, it will take a bunch of fucking calling to do. Hey, we've got this new event, this ideal opening, and they'll have quotas and a target of people to get in. But they'll just play it and play it and play it for about a week, and then they'll send it back. That's usually what happens with that kind of
I would have
stuff.
expected them to just throw it out after that.
Yeah.
Or file it away with all the other fucking bullshit bureaucracy paperwork, compliance reports, and oh my god. That's another thing that I learned about compliance reports. Sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Oh yeah, no one ever wrote them because you just wouldn't have the time.
The flag rep
You wouldn't have
wasn't
time.
on your ass about that?
No, I mean the flag rep would write compliance reports, and that was because it was part of our statistics was compliance reports to flag to upper management, and I think the outreach communicator, the LC, was the same. It was one of our statistics, and the org officer as well. But other than that, no one used to write compliance reports at all. You wouldn't have the time to. You'd be trying to get shit done till up until Thursday before 2 p.m., which is when your weekends. It's Thursday to Thursday. But yeah, no one used to ever write compliance reports.
Well then. Have you seen David Miscavige's Ted Koppel interview? That's from Haggis Basher.
Yeah, I've seen it like 6 or 7 times. There's a few. And what's so fascinating is that's his only. I think he did another interview which was in the paper in the 90s as well. But there's yeah, and I used to watch all of David's events. When he used to, and I went to several of his events as well. I went to St. Hill every year. I went to the IS event every year, so I got to see him in person. I was a few inches away from him at one point, and I was like, I actually went up to go and speak to him because I met Tom Cummings and I met all the big donors and all the whales. And then I actually went up to speak to David Miscavige, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go up and say hello to him and whatever." And then as soon as I got close enough, his security, I kid you not, is longer than the entire Great Wall of China. It's just guys, Sea Org guys in all black, and they're Sea Org because you can see the belt, and they're shoulder to shoulder, and they're like, if you try to go near them and say, hello, can can I meet David? I just wanted to say hello to COB or whatever, chairman of the board. They'd say they'd tell you to fuck off. They would say no, like he's making this is what they would say. Who the fuck are you? Like, what's your name? And then you would give them your name, and then they'd be like, okay, listen, Amir, yeah, he's meeting very specific people right now, so we don't really want anything on his lines at the minute. So I'd kindly ask you to leave the tent. And then, if you stayed and you hung around, because it's well within your right to, you're making so much money for them, and you're entitled to stay at the charity concert or whatever. You're more than welcome to have a few drinks and hang around with your friends. It's like a kind of for those few hours a time off for you. But I had them trying to boot me out there. I was pulled by like 4 security guards saying, like, who the fuck are you, basically?
Wow.
Because it's like, what right do I have to walk directly up to David and want to start a conversation? It's no. He's supposed to get brought to you. So that's the culture and the mindset.
Not even like, I'll pass the message or whatever. It's just go
Oh,
away.
fuck no. Yeah, like, fuck off.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. All right. Oh, did you guys have any issues with false stat reporting at your org?
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know the thing is about false stat reports is nobody knows what their job is, and they don't read the statistics. So of course they're gonna false report it, and maybe they're off by 1. And per policy, this is a really big deal. Like people can get COMEV'd, right? A committee of evidence, from all this stuff. This is a really, really big deal, but people used to fuck that up all the time, and that's because they didn't read their statistics, or they just didn't know what their job was at all, and they were told, listen, your statistic is new publican. Okay, I think it was something like that. New publican. But like, if the guy, does he have to come upstairs and do something? Does he have to just walk through the door and he's in the building? Does he have to actually, if he wanders in, takes a flyer and walks out, does that count? Or do you have to actually bring him in? So people would inflate the numbers, or maybe not right enough. Like, so that happened all the time. And it's just because these guys are fucking Mongols and they don't know how to tell you, this is your job and this is why we're, you should give the guy the policy on how to do his job before you even think about putting him on the OEC or something else. Just logic.
That feels
logic.
Pretty basic, pretty common sense.
Exactly, and these guys are data series completions. They're supposed to be trained in logic, but I'm telling you, there's none of it. Absolutely none of it.
Yeah, fuck that. Nope. I walked into an org once, took the OCA,
Exactly.
and then walked out. No.
Good.
No.
Yeah, good on you.
Anywho,
good on you.
The actual reason we're here. All right, so I found some stuff. This is a specific video from Scientology. I don't remember if this is a tour or just a general overview, whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you were looking for like any specific like grand openings or stuff from like SMP that you wanted to look at or anything like that.
No, just whatever you put on. I'm happy to talk about.
So let me. Loud enough?
Yeah.
Scientology Media Productions. The studio occupies 5 acres on legendary Sunset Boulevard.
I've never actually seen
this is a truly unique facility with every aspect of production on one lot. Production sound stages, visual effects, editing, recording, mixing, and broadcasting. And all of it networked through 27 miles of fiber optic cable. Every department is fully integrated to...
They make it... That's another thing. They're like, 27 miles of fiber optic cable. Like it's this revolutionary thing they've done. Or when I was watching a video about, I think it was Bridge Publications, and they were like...
Yeah.
Sharp printing technology or some shit. I'm like, oh, you mean like the fucking inkjet I have in my house? Like, they blow this shit up to such an extent to make it sound like they're investing the world amount of money in this technology when it's such a fundamental part of existence now.
Guys, listen to the video and close your eyes and tell me you're not listening to a movie trailer.
Seriously, though.
Please, tell me you're not listening to a movie trailer right now. And this is supposed to be a religion being really dead serious about their big propaganda studio. This is like, international management we're talking about here. But I'm telling you, close your eyes, tell me you're listening to a film trailer.
Produce content across every media platform. Internet, social networks, podcasts, streaming media, radio,
It's a reality
television,
show.
cable, satellite. Originally constructed in 1912, this is among Hollywood's most historic studios. And
Yep,
all
and
of it
Scientology
now
absolutely ruined
meticulously
it.
restored. Every building, every brick, every detail, all to preserve the legacy of this cultural landmark. And, as fate would have it, it was from this very address L. Ron Hubbard was invited to write for the silver screen in the 1930s, before the advent of Dianetics and Scientology. Here, visitors are provided with an introduction to his screenwriting career during Hollywood's golden age. A career reflected along the studio's historic promenade. The Scientology Media Productions broadcast studios. Each is custom designed and equipped with computerized lighting, the latest high-definition technology, and robotically controlled cameras. The studios provide the church with the capability to produce multiple television programs simultaneously, and will be made available to religious groups of all denominations in our mutual goal to create a better world. Directly adjacent and servicing the studios are facilities.
That's another thing. They're like, we're going to distribute it to all religious denominations, and it's how many of them actually have this shit now? How much are you? How many religious denominations have you actually sent this to?
Oh, dude, it's just bullshit completely. I remember because I came in, when Scientology Network. This is all, by the way, all of this stuff is in the Scientology Network app, which anyone can download on their phone, right? But you'll find all these ridiculous videos there. But I remember I wanted to go, and one of my statistics was promotional pieces like flyers and whatnot. Okay, I would go to a mosque or a church, and I would say, "Hey, there's a book that we have called The Way to Happiness, right?" And I was just wondering if you guys would ever consider putting it in your church or in your mosque or in your synagogue. And it's not really like that religious, is what I would say at the time. It's not really religious. It's just, kind of similar to the 10 Commandments and whatnot. And then say, oh, okay, well, listen, Amir, you seem like a very cool guy. So I'll tell you what, I'll give it a read and I'll get back to you. All of those guys got back to me and they looked up L. Ron Hubbard, because LRH put his name on absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. I'm telling you, he could have went to the bathroom and took a bit of toilet paper, he would have put his name on it. Honestly, he put his name on everything. Probably had his name on his toothbrush.
On Source Charmin.
Apparently, dude, I'm telling you, apparently, it's like Trump. Just stick your name on everything. And apparently, it's like I don't know, I might be talking out my ass, but apparently it is a quality of a malignant narcissist to do that, just with their level of insecurity or whatever. So anyway, they got back to me and they had researched L. Ron Hubbard and they were like, basically, fuck that. So the religions and the church, they're not with them at all. They're not with them at all. So this is just bullshit. That's all it is.
For everything from hair and makeup to a corridor of dressing rooms. And the historic Little Theater has been restored and is today available as a screening room for community presentations. The media complex also includes 20 digital editing suites for production of documentaries and series covering every aspect of Scientology's global movement. The Media Center further includes facilities for music soundtracks and audio post-production.
All I can say is I know the Sea Org people who have to deal with all this nonsense. At least they don't have to deal with it to the degree that Golden Era Productions did. Looking over some of my notes, learning about how some of the events were produced, especially like the New Year's Eve event for 2000 or the the War is Over event, learning about what happened behind the scenes and how Miscavige was basically rejecting everything anyone ever did because it was never good enough. I'm wondering how much of that still carries over to SMP.
Oh my god! I mean, I could only imagine. The war is over. I mean, Mark Headley knows this shit way better than me because he personally worked at the Gold Base and worked in Golden Era Productions, and it's covered beautifully in his book as well, Blown for Goods. But I remember because I was over Dissemination. The videographer, the photographer, the guys that would take the pictures during the events was all underneath me. I had to do those functions. I had to set, because I was a film geek and a film nerd, I had to set up the camera. I had to film the Flag World Tour event that was held in a hotel. I had to deal with the camera and the tripod. I had to, fucking deal with all of this shit. But I mean, they'll just bitch and moan about everything. Like they're not. These guys aren't kind. They're not kind, caring people that really value your advice, and it's not like a collaborative experience. It's a complete dictatorship, and so they'll just bitch and moan about everything. But I'm laughing at how empty this is. I mean, all these ideal orgs and all of these trailers and fancy schmancy stuff, just empty. It's just dust. It's just collecting
Wouldn't
dust.
the video look better anyway with people working?
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see people using the technology. And, this is a studio we're talking about, like people operating the different, I'd love to see that, or at least show me that there's staff or something, but it's empty. And the idle org is the same. It's just dead.
With 5 state-of-the-art surround sound mix rooms.
Wait, hold on. I gotta go back. I gotta see that again.
Yeah.
Oh, bitch.
And are further includes
damn it.
Facilities for music soundtracks and audio post-production. With 5 state-of-the-art surround sound mix rooms.
You gotta have the clear sound. Can't be Scientology without the fucking clear sound. Like, what?
Right.
I know you probably can't answer this, but I would like to know what the specs are of the clear sound that makes it supposedly so much better than anything else. Like, I want to know what they're supposedly doing to make it good. I'm not an audio technician. I'm not any of that, but it's like what they when you build an entire business for fuck's sake, based off of a goddamn CD player for $400. What are you doing that makes it so fucking special?
I mean, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in 20 years. I mean, I think that what they've started doing is, I think in the past they had a lot more just CR guys working on it and guys from Golden Era Productions, but I think now they're actually taking the time and money and actually sticking that over $1 billion worth into hiring legit professionals to do some of the work, but most of it has not changed in 20 years, to be honest with you.
I'll have to ask Mark about that, see if he can give me some tech specs.
It's also here that the church shapes its message for broadcast and prepares them for distribution across television, radio, podcasts, and all other media channels. This is the central point for planning and execution of public service announcements, television ads, magazine.
They show this big room like
Jesus, man.
First off, when I see a room like this, especially related to Scientology, I think of like a Scientology chapel or auditorium or something like that. There's no public coming in here. Any of the staff here probably already know what is being presented. What is the fucking point?
It's just empty. I mean, go look at Minnesota's TikTok page. Go look at San Francisco's TikTok page. Go look at Andy speak. Go look at Gunner speak. These guys that are, the best ideal orgs in the entire world in regards to points. If you want to take points from the main statistics and see who gets the most points every single week, which is a game called the birthday game, L. Ron Hubbard's birthday game. But if you want to take all these top, go look at their TikTok pages. Go look at Gunner in the chapel, right? I mean, Minnesota, that building was a museum before it was an ideal org. It is fucking. I mean, Alex told me it's basically still a museum, but it is just collecting dust. And you look at the chapel, honestly, you could mistake it for Cineworld or the AMC. It just looks like a massive theater, but it's empty. It's just dead. I mean, London Org, very recent, because London Org have two TikTok pages. They have the Life Improvement Center TikTok page, and they have the other main one where they post people that finish courses and quotes and whatnot. But they did a group shot, okay, that you can see on their TikTok page. They did a group shot where they had all the staff outside, and it's just going along and playing music. And it's supposed to be this weird, trendy, yabba yabba gooba gooba kind of shit, right? But pause the video and just count how many staff members you see. I'm telling you, it's like 50. It's 50. And you're supposed to have 200 staff, 150 staff to even be ideal in the first place. But these buildings are dead. Honestly, if you watch the TikTok pages, if you go in, or if you ever have been in, they're dead. They're empty. They're just sitting there collecting dust.
I just don't. Well, then again, this whole ideal org thing was Miscavige's idea, not necessarily Hubbard's. But I can't really ask that question now because it's Miscavige, because he's doing it after all of this has already been so baked in. But if Hubbard had tried any of this, and at least one person like tried to poke a fucking hole in his logic and be like, "Oh, if you build it, they will come." When? Who fucking said that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's there. Like you've mentioned on previous podcasts before, like every single ex-Scientologist that I have watched has mentioned the logic. I'm quoting from the Data series, is illogical.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get how they can come to these conclusions like this, building these massive buildings, renovating, fundraising, and not a single fucking person went, hold on. Like,
yeah, I mean, L. Ron Hubbard says in policy that they will know you by your MEST, matter, energy, space, and time, right? But they'll know you, like when they look at your buildings, they'll know, like whoa, what fuck, wow, what's this grand historical building? And they're very, very strategic about that. When they go to buy these buildings, it's supposed to be of, like a historic landmark or a very historic building. That's what they usually try and go for, the buildings that they try and buy. And you can read all of the stuff on the internet about buildings they've bought or buildings that they have been trying to bid for. But I mean, same old. People, I mean, honestly, tell David Miscavige, go out on the street and body route for 2 minutes and see what people say when they walk past. They as soon as they see the sign, it's just like, cool. Nothing's changed. Not a fancy building is not going to change.
They don't take into account stigma. And then another thing, when we were talking about this, I pulled up my old my protest points paper. It's like 8 pages of different quotes and shit. And one of them is from the Anatomy of the Human Mind Congress.
Yes.
And Hubbard literally said, "When buildings get important to us, for God's sake, some of you born revolutionists, will you please blow up central headquarters?"
This guy, this dude.
Fucking idiot. But I will say one thing. I hate giving Scientology credit where it's due. But they make these places look absolutely fantastic. Like, if I saw this place and it wasn't associated with a church, I would think it was beautifully designed.
Right.
It's just the label. It's the fucking label. As soon as they put that on there, it just destroys it.
Yeah.
Sure. Dissemination, and on and on.
That's another thing. Magazines. Isn't every org supposed to have a magazine?
Yes. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Again, it's my job because it comes under Division 2. It comes under dissemination and the org magazine and the org mag and the manuals about. I mean, there's manuals on the stuff that you have to read and get checked out on, right? People have to test you on these manuals, but it will say, how do you video a room? How do you take a picture of a room? Do not. That's why when it would be an event, you cannot have gaps in the middle. You have to escort everybody to the front so the front looks full. And so there's no kind of weird patches or gaps. And so Aaron Hubbard just went into tremendous detail on how pictures are supposed to be done and you know, all of that kind of stuff, right? So there's a bunch of manuals on that, but it's just a massive backlog. That's the reality of it, because no one has time to go around and take all these pictures and send it for approval and collect success stories and wins and all of this information. No one has time to go about doing all that stuff. Everyone's mind is so stressed out and occupied. But yeah, every org does technically have these magazines for sure.
Did you actually like print any of these or try to put at least one together during your time there, or was it automatically like established, like, we don't worry about the org magazine type of thing with you?
Occasionally there was a few that were put out. I mean, when the guys came back, when there was something major, like the guys came back from Clearwater, Florida, from Flag after 3 fucking years of being away from their families, training there. Then when they came back, an org magazine came out. Occasionally, but it wasn't done on a weekly basis like it was supposed to.
And then that's another thing, is based on how you've described the happy,
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're not able to afford flag accommodations and stuff for their staff for 3 whole years. So then that goes into the thing about here, well, at least from what I've heard, is that if an org can't pay, then the staff member who's getting training has to basically do Sea Org work.
Yeah, there has to be a degree or a level of exchange. There's a lot of policy on it, but L. Ron Hubbard's theory is, okay, let's say that you've got a burger joint around the corner, and then your uncle runs it, and then he says, "Hey, good to see you. Listen, don't worry about paying me for the burger. We're family. I'm not going to charge you anything for it. So you can come here every single day for dinner and I'll give you a free burger and fries and whatnot." No, not according to Aaron Hubbard's theory. There's no exchange. He's giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. But you're not giving, you're just taking and taking and taking and taking and taking. So it has to be like, no, I have to give you something. I have to pay you the actual price. But there has to be exchange. And so his theory is, if you go to Flag for 3 years and get all this information and technology and knowledge, and you do Superpower, which costs 40 grand, but it's for free for Sea Org and staff, and you do the entire FABC and management series and whatnot, you're just taking all of this shit. What are you giving to Flag? What are you giving to these guys back? There has to be some level of exchange.
Never mind the fact that you're working your ass off at your home org. That doesn't totally count as fucking exchange. First off, you're making hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars if you're fucking lucky.
Right.
But you're making all this money for them, and they can't just be like, because if one second, I gotta.
Yeah.
If I get work training, I get paid for work training, but that's not the part I'm worried about. They're expecting me to do the training and do my job. They're not expecting me to work in exchange for the training. They're not expecting me to do estates messed work, hard labor, galley bullshit just because I took this course that y'all wanted me to do in the first place. I'm assuming it's not something they necessarily volunteered for.
Oh, fuck no.
So then, if they didn't have the choice to do it, but they did it anyway, doesn't that give them a justification to be like, I didn't necessarily want to be here, but I'm doing it because I have to, so why the fuck should I have to do more?
Yeah. And with some people, it is definitely like that for sure. I mean, it's so, honestly, it's just so insane to talk about. But these guys are just amongst as true believers as you possibly can be with any cult. And their mindset and their belief is that they're honest to God, hand on heart, scouts honor, clearing the fucking planet. And the last time I checked, from a 14-year-old kid that just went clear not too long ago, that works in that work. He was clear number 70,000, 79,000 or something like that. And so from 1950 till 2026, despite their claims of clearing the planet and saving all of humanity and yabba yabba gooba gooba, all that good stuff, right? They're at clear number 79,000. And I mean, you've hardly cleared a fucking village.
So that's what, 1,000 clears a year, maybe?
Yeah, you've hardly cleared a town or a village. Not leave continents and countries and cities aside. We're talking about villages, or one singular village. You can't even clear a village. And so when you get these figures and numbers and you gather all this factual information and you see for yourself with an open mind, it's just bullshit, man. It's just a lot of bullshit, and you can't help but laugh at it when you get all the figures and whatnot, and their claims of global expansion. It's just a bunch of bullshit, honestly.
Just everything, just all of the shit that I've learned over the past 8 years. It just makes me more and more angry, and then more and more confused, and yeah. Anyway.
All media platforms are...
Oh, by the way, remind me, I will send you the note files that I have collected over the years. Not just mounds of documents, but everything consolidated into massive fucking data sheets.
Go for it. Go for it. I'd love to see.
Because I've got 2 files worth of people. I've got organizations and places. I've got auditing and services. I've got management. I've got culture. I've got general documentation, events, and I think a couple of other posts. I still got to work on that one.
Awesome.
And I may end up asking you some questions about that later, just to get some better ideas about what people do and what their stats and VFPs are.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Sure.
Further networked into a proprietary translations database, the most advanced system of its kind.
It's
not
advanced. It's a flyer.
Oh my God, it's so painful, and these still go out on the streets, Carmen, till vape, this day.
No other vape.
Oh my! Are you living to your full potential? Dear God.
I don't know if you. I mean, I don't know if weed is legal in Scotland. But I'm taking a hit purely because of the nonsense bullshit. If there's anyone else in the audience on OT 420 right now, you might want to go on a session. Sorry.
Providing instantaneous translation of promotional materials into any foreign language at the press of a button.
Google Translate.
And that includes the Internet Unit, set up for instant multi-language uploads to every social media platform.
Doesn't need to be a fucking unit! That's another thing, is learning about the org board and all of the units and the subunits. It's why? What is the point? You can just mix some of those into fucking one.
Oh, Lord.
This is maddening.
Dude, this is painful to watch.
I mean,
man.
I thought fucking putting out the lectures on my channel was fucking boring as shit. I mean, I've already finished FEBC. I've already got all 12 of those up. I'm on like SHSBC number 14.
No fucking. You're going through the briefing.
I'm going through the lectures. I'm uploading the lectures. And in my latest video, which I put out this morning, which is just a little 3 or something hour one of just lectures 10, 11, 12, and 13 playing. In the very beginning, I actually have the AI host. I have them give you a shout out. You're the third shout out on that video.
Seriously? No, thank you. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't touch the fucking. I worked with Class 6 auditors who did the briefing course full time at Flag for a year. But honestly, dude, that thing is nearly 500 lectures.
I know. And I'm ready to go through every single fucking one. I mean, I'm sorry. Today, when I put up my video, if I do like a premiere instead of like a live stream like I was doing before for the FEBCs, I was sitting through those. I would have to sit here through those because it's a live stream. I'd have to update it, have to be here to switch out the tracks and whatever. But when it's a premiere, like the SHSBC ones, at this point, I upload it and then I just walk away and just go do my own thing.
Yeah.
But
respect to you. Respect to you. I wouldn't waste my time. I had to listen to several of those lectures on the student hack course. All of them related to study, which is 8 lectures. Besides that,
that's all you had to do?
Yeah, there's eight lectures to do with study on the briefing course. But yeah, that's all I had to do. Thankfully, I mean, it was still brutal. I mean, L. Ron Hubbard's supposed to be talking about study, and then he hovers. He loves his examples. He would hover off into aviation when he was, a pilot at the dawn of aviation, which is also in the films as well. And then he would move all the way over to photography and how he studied photography at university. Yeah, butterfly lighting, Rembrandt effects, all of that kind of stuff. And then he would hover off into how he's this humanitarian philanthropist, all of that kind of stuff, and he would go and he would absolutely nail Freud for an hour, and it's just like, Ron, you're supposed to be talking about, this is the title of the lecture. Why are you going off into psychology, and then I have to clear up all these words, and it's just, anyway, full respect to you.
I can get them keeping the lectures the way they are for posterity reasons.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why they can't make the policies and technical bulletins clearer. Why they can't do what I did when it came to the finance series and consolidate the points. So like, instead of having FBO points being in policy 6, 12, and 13, you just have them in one policy called FBO duties or whatever. Why?
Yeah. Just fucking make it a lot more simple.
Seriously. Maybe so many people won't leave.
I mean,
they're going to leave anyway.
Even the OEC, they will, regardless, because there's too many flaws and there's so much corruption going on in there. And they nitpick and choose which policies to use at whatever time suits them best. But the size of those OEC volumes are actually fucking insane. I'm telling you, it's bigger than
They're in my basement.
OEC volume 7. It's, oh my god, it's bigger than me. These 600-page OEC volumes. And I know Treasury isn't the biggest one, and I think
Division 4 or Division 7, I think, are the two biggest.
Oh, and HCO, because HCO is 3 parts. The HCO is, I mean, the other ones are like, 2 parts, 3 parts, 2 parts mostly. HCO is 3. And from the guys that I spoke to that were doing Volume 1, Division 1, all of the HCO, OEC Volume 1, they were like, that didn't fucking end. I thought it was going to end, but it just didn't end. That's how they described that one. So, I mean, and you're going into ethics territory and all of that kind of stuff. So, I mean,
Yeah. No, thank you.
yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here too is Freedom, the church's award-winning magazine, soon to extend its
Award-winning probably by yourselves, not by any body.
cutting-edge
Probably, yeah.
investigatory reporting online and across the airwaves.
I will say I had no idea they did the Freedom Magazine stuff here, but I guess, yeah, that makes sense. But still, I wouldn't have
Right.
pictured it being near the movie studio. I would have expected this to be like a different facility, like not on the same property.
Yeah, you're totally. I mean, I guess it just fits into their propaganda and their image and whatnot and all that kind of jazz. But
Oh wow, yeah, no, clearly they took this before anyone started working. Look at the fucking comm basket right here. Fucking nothing in it.
I can't even tell if it's real. It looks so, CGI generated to me. It doesn't even look like a real image that they took. But anyway,
Along with Scientology news updates to keep parishioners informed.
Do they actually have this? Or is it just part of like their other series on Scientology Network? Because I have never heard of anything like a Scientology news update. The fuck is that?
oh no, fuck no. I mean, they have other apps that you can download on App Store, and they have other things that you'll get sent to you in your communication basket. Like they'll have the Auditors magazine, they'll have Golden Age of Knowledge promotion and whatnot. I've never in my entire life seen Scientology news update. I've never seen it before.
Just imagining like some anchor just sitting at a news desk. Like breaking news or some shit. Like new e-meter came out or some bullshit. You got to get your e-meter renewed or whatever.
Christ. E-meter number 9.
Mark 9.
Lord. What did 3, 4, and 5 miss? It's supposed to be standard.
All production streams here.
And that's another thing. I know. I'm sorry. I keep pausing this. First off, I want to establish how much time you have left because I don't want to run over your time.
Totally fine. Take it away. Honestly, I'm totally fine with time.
Fuck. Where was I just going with that? I haven't even smoked yet. What the hell?
Here
hang on. We gotta get
is
through this
Freedom,
first. And
the
then maybe I'll
church's
remember.
award-winning magazine, soon to extend its cutting-edge investigatory reporting online and across the airwaves. Along with Scientology news updates to keep parishioners informed.
Yes. If everything is supposed to be standard and done according to this one specific way that everybody's taught how to do, what makes flags so special? I mean, I know that they're the mecca of Scientology. They got all this advanced training, auditor training, all that bullshit. But if it's the same tech, why does there need to be a difference in quality of training?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the argument that they'll probably throw your way is how trained the staff are at Flag.
Why are they not trained the same everywhere else?
Well, exactly. Honestly, it comes down to them having no staff. And you take the different orgs in the United Kingdom, for example, Sunderland org, who I believe have four staff members, 4 or 5 staff members. So I mean, last year I think they had 3 staff members, and L. Ron Hubbard says in a reference, org program number 1, I believe it is, an org board, right, can at the absolute least have 3 people running a Scientology organization, and it can go all the way up to 300 million. It can go.
You can run a galaxy with it.
Yeah, something like that, right? 300 million. It can 3 at the bare minimum, and it can go up to 300 million people running one org. Some stupid, outrageous, or 300,000, or I think it was 300,000. Sorry, but anyway, it's some outrageous number. And so, if you were to make Sunderland's org standards, you would have to man up that org significantly, which is a fucking task in and of itself if you look at their field and how many people even go on course, like 2 or 3 people going on course in the evenings or whatever. So it comes down to the root cause of all of this stuff just comes down to people. And it's, when you look at the statistics, which I would joke around and say, not even a football analyst loves statistics as much as Scientology do. I mean, I've never seen it before in my life. Like the way that they look at it in the morning and the evening and write their schedule on it, then have all the meetings on the statistics and then have the big staff meeting on statistics. And then David Miscavige gets up. What does he talk about at the IS event? Statistics, way to happiness booklets, the stuff that they do against psychiatry, CCHR, just statistics is all they dream about statistics. It's oozing out of their ears. And so anyway, when you kind of look at their main problem is people, and they simply do not have enough people. That's why everything is empty. That's why their statistics are terrible. That's why they're not making enough money. That's why, it's just people. And it's because so many people are leaving. And why are people leaving? Social media. And I know that from not only just doing my research on the fucking thing, but I worked in the public divisions. And so I would meet people, I would get on the meter and stress test people. I would do personality test evaluations with people. I would do lectures. I had all these big ideas. I would work through TikTok and social media platforms. And so I would talk to people because I run Hubbard policy. There's a policy called the DECEM drill or the dissemination drill. And it basically is about how do you disseminate Scientology to people? How do you talk about Scientology to people? And so you get in contact with the person, which is literally the first step, and then you handle. That's the second step. So you ask them, have they heard of it? How have they heard of it? And then you handle any. Black PR is what they call it. But social media has absolutely killed them. And I asked people, like, how did you hear about it when I was there? And a lot of them said TikTok and documentaries and social media. And so when you have guys like Street LA who go up and film Shannon and has literally turned Shannon into a landmark in Los Angeles. And so people will just go to that exact street just so they can get a video of Shannon closing the door on them. It's just... And these guys are supposed to, it's the stupidity. I mean, there's literally a course called PTSSP, How to Confront and Shatter Suppression, which is 160 hours long. And it's like...
But they can't shatter shit. They run away like a bitch.
You just run away and close the door? Like, what the fuck did you learn?
What have you not applied?
So... Yeah, exactly. Which word do you not understand? What MEUs do you have?
Oh, God.
Dear God.
I feel strange with the fact that I find this funny because I know the mental and physical suffering that has gone into making this system work. But it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't make it any less humorous on my end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just, yeah. No, sorry.
I didn't want to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
No, I was thinking out loud. That's literally what I was doing.
Production streams here to the broadcast building. Working closely with leading-edge media hardware firms, the core technology was designed and...
Ooh, server room. Yippee.
built from the ground up.
As most of them are.
A cluster of 3.2 million gigabytes. A backbone of hundreds of advanced media processors integrated into one supercomputer. This is the most sophisticated...
I will say their cable management is scratching the IT part of my brain correctly.
High-performance media system of its kind. The broadcast building is also home to the upcoming Scientology radio station.
When, bitch?
And then, at the heart of this digital media center is Central Ingest, where video footage arrives from all over the world across ultra-high bandwidth and directly on satellite. And all of it indexed, cataloged, and readied for broadcast through Master Control, the final emanation point for all programming on the forthcoming Scientology television channel, to broadcast to a global audience. Combine it all, and this is how the church will take its message to the world, across its own television channel, radio station, and every other current and emerging media platform. Here is the means by which to answer the question, what is Scientology?
And that's the thing though with a lot of cults and religious groups, especially with like the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Right.
They've got their Jehovah's Witness television or whatever, but they act, these people, media SMP acts like the Scientology channel is what's gonna get people in, when the only people watching it are either A, critics, or B, people who are already Scientologists. There's no new public coming in because they saw Inside Scientology or Meet a Scientologist. Because half these people don't even realize that this fucking channel came with their Dish Network package.
Yeah, I had a staff member once who he was he was pretty high up. He was pretty high up, but I remember he would just, you know, he would say it's complete bullshit, because what happened was they released Scientology Network, and it has I think 58 million views on YouTube on the actual Scientology YouTube channel. And so anyway, David Miscavige is like blah 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 blah, comes out, speaks, and then it got released. But then when the program came down from management, it says call your public in. So you have to call people in the building to get them to watch it.
So then what are the dissemination people fucking doing?
Yeah,
other than calling in, I mean, obviously,
look,
but what's the media
right.
what's the point of the media productions?
Exactly, it's supposed to be digital. You can just download it on your phone. The Mormons have the same thing, because in the LDS Church they have an app called Library, which basically has videos of the prophet speaking, or the president speaking, or people from the 12 apostles, or they have their hymns on there as well. So there's a few cults, religions that have that. But I know that the Scientology, specifically David Miscavige, takes a lot from the Mormons, a lot, in terms of presentation and mass events and venues and the way to disseminate and whatnot, massively. And how I know that is because it has been mentioned and talked about numerous times on YouTube by people that worked directly with him and heard him reference to, but what are the Mormons doing now? So, yeah.
That I did not know. I had no idea Scientology was like looking towards Mormons as like an ideal standard.
David, yeah, for sure.
Damn. Okay.
The more that I learn about David Miscavige, after speaking to people that worked with him, the dude's clueless. I'll be honest. He's not that clever. Like, he surrounds himself with the intelligent people, who he has now kicked out, or he is treated in such a vulgar, disgusting way that they just left. Right? They ran away, or they had to plan their escape. David's dad left. David's niece left. David's sisters are no longer part of it. David Miscavige's brother is no longer part of it. I think it's just him. I think, well, maybe there's, I don't know, his entire family tree, but I think it's just him now. Everyone around that guy has just ran away from him, or is no longer in his vicinity. It's just, but the more I learn about him, he is fascinating. No doubt about it. David Miscavige is and so is L. Ron Hubbard, no doubt about it. Their madness is just fascinating, and their downfall is fascinating for sure. But the more I learn about David, he's not a smart guy, and he just manages. Like, L. Ron Hubbard would be rolling in his grave if he knew what David was doing today. He's managed to fuck up everything that you could possibly fuck up, and drop their numbers. If they had 150,000 members in the 90s, okay, when you look at the Shrine Auditorium and that event in 93 about when they got tax exemption, if you look, if they had 150,000 at their peak or whatever, and now it's estimated to be 20 to 30,000 people, I mean, the dude has fucked it up in so many ways that you could possibly fuck it up. I mean, he is the one that is responsible for Scientology's demise, essentially. So I find that funny. He's not He's not an intelligent guy. He's an absolute donut in charge,
No,
honestly.
he's an executive who can't execute.
Exactly.
Is Scientology Media Productions.
I'm pretty sure Miscavige, was he even like FEBC trained?
I have no fucking idea. I mean, I asked, where is this guy on the bridge? And I asked from different sources, people that had worked with him, or people that knew him, or people that had met him. What I know, if you just want to deal with facts, I know he was on his class 4 internship. And then what he did was he punched his PC in the face, or hit his PC in the face, right? So that I know 100% without a doubt. The rest is where it gets theoretical. On his naval uniform, okay, when you look at his white naval uniform, he has badges.
Yeah, all those
on his
fucking
chest,
bars
and
and shit, yeah.
All those bars, all those rankings. Someone said that apparently they found the policy or the flag order where they broke down what the badges mean. And one of the badges is Class 12 Auditor and also Class 9 and CS.
What the fuck?
So he wears that badge, or he wore that. So I don't know, essentially. What I do know for sure is he was on his Class 4 internship. I also do know that he was on his OT levels, because it would be said from people that worked with him at the international base. Well, one, he would obviously have his dog with him who would bark. And when he would say when his dog barked, the dog consents over it, or consents something. And it's just this dude. And then apparently he also had a fear of BTs. So he wouldn't want to go like body things, and he wouldn't want to go near children so much, or he was a massive germaphobe. And so he would have hand sanitizers, and he put grease all over him before the IS event, and there would be numerous eyewitnesses that can testify to this, of course. But I think he got up to OT3 on the other side of the bridge, but I don't know for sure.
It's the fact that he's not the highest rank that he could be on the bridge. He's not an OT8. Like, you would think, if you're gonna lead the entire fucking church, you need to be OT8, or you need to be a Class 12.
Well, yeah, I mean, you need to know all the tech.
So how the fuck? But it explains the incompetence.
Exactly.
Actually, even if he was Class 12, he'd probably still be incompetent. But
right.
All right. Well, that's the end of that. So took us fucking long enough. All right. Let me switch to another source. Where is it? I was gonna say, have you actually looked at like the old Golden Era like tour video or whatever? The Golden Era like promotional video?
No, I've seen the old flag tour with Debbie Cook, but I haven't seen the Golden Era one.
All right, let me see if I can. All right, and then how do I do this? Fuck, I'm still not good with restream. Not share screen. Where do I do this?
Go. Go. Now.
No, there was a. All right, this is pissing me off because it was there before, and now it's all of a sudden not. It was like an ad scene. Oh, there it is. I'm just stupid.
No.
Anyway. Okay, so we do that. We do this. We do this.
I overheard my dad once telling one of his friends, Crystal likes helping people. I love taking care of people who love taking care of people. Those are the guys I want to help.
Ain't nobody biking for fun and jogging for fun at Golden Era. The only running you're doing is the fucking running program.
You wouldn't have fucking time to do that stuff.
Exactly. Or the only running you're doing is to get to muster on time.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, exactly.
You know, we all came from literally all areas of the globe. The thing that binds us is the Scientology religion itself.
Golden Era Productions is part of the Church of Scientology International.
We produce all the audiovisual used throughout the church.
Films, documentaries, public service announcements.
From literacy programs to drug education.
Everything that we produce here is helping that one-on-one person. It educates them and it helps them and it helps people, millions of people around the world. And it's
No, you show it to millions of people and then millions of people laugh at you.
done right from here. Mr. Hubbard originally formed Golden Era Productions to do the films of Scientology.
And I still find it funny that when it comes to like Mitch and stuff,
Yeah.
that Hubbard's films were so bad that they needed to be reshot. And he's supposedly a master fucking filmmaker. I mean, for fuck's sake, Dave was working with him.
Yeah, David was the cameraman.
And even then, they ended up like shit.
Yeah, do you know what else is really funny is when they shoot a film and then someone gets declared and they have to reshoot the film because they can't keep playing it with this declared guy in it. So they had to just, you know, try get some other dude who's like not a Scientologist at all to kind of be there and sit down or just hold the cans or something. But they kept having films where people were like getting declared, so they had to reshoot them.
Realize that in the modern age we live in, if Scientology were to be correctly taught the way it's supposed to be,
Mitch,
people would need to see
he's
how
out.
it's done. He wrote a core body
Shout out to
of
Mitch.
films which comprise
Hold on. That's what I want to take a look at these just for a second. So we got the TR
Yeah,
films and the E-meter films.
assists. Oh, Jesus, confessional TRs.
Did you have to watch any of these?
Yeah, for sure. Just when you were on Pro TRs or on staff TRs and there was films on there, upper and dock, of course. Anytime you're going up, you know, just training to be an auditor, you had to watch all these tech films. So yeah. But I never got up to metering. So I never watched anything to do with the meter.
What did you get up to on the training side?
I got up to upper and
Okay.
dock. I finished upper and dock and then that was as far. I never got into my metering because they nailed me to get onto my tip. And so I had to do the finance course before I could know my job and do my hat. And I had to do exec status 1. And then I had to do method 1. And then I had to do my OEC. And it was just the most absurd program you've ever seen. You have to do several, you know, basic staff hat. You have to do all of this stuff before you do your job and do your hat. So I think David Miscavige is the one that actually makes these programs and makes these tips from people that I've spoken to that were, you know, are still active executives right now. But he's fucked up everything. I mean, chronologically, what he's done with the policies. I mean, you know the OEC green volumes. They don't get used anymore.
Well, I knew they had the golden
They're-
age of admin, but I didn't know they got rid of the OEC vols.
They still have them, but you're discouraged from
Why?
using them. Because David Miscavige has apparently made everything standard with GAT
God.
2 and with the Golden Age of Admin, and so has put them into these new packs where you know, these new.
So they
hat
took
packs.
everything out of the
And so-
vols and stuck them in the hat in the drill packs.
Well, chronologically they've changed, and also certain wording has changed completely. So it's not standard tech as Hubbard wrote it at all. And he has his justification for it and whatnot. But whilst the OEC volumes, you would have the massive Division 7 one, that's no longer the case. You have a pack, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. And they're, again, chronologically different. The dates are different. The wording is different. It's changed. Everything chronologically, he has changed everything. So it's not standard tech. It's quite the contrary, actually.
Scientology is the most squirrel organization.
total of 26 films, and within them is contained the basics of the scriptures.
In such a way that's artistic and aesthetic.
It's like a visual Bible for Scientologists to be able to apply the principles of L. Ron Hubbard.
These were not dry films. I mean, these were films that were full of life and full of characters and full of examples.
Welcome down, sir.
And that's why the studio exists here.
First off, it's a very large campus with a lot of buildings and a lot of square footage.
We have 500 acres of grounds here that are
I'm
absolutely...
pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, they filmed one of the... Actually, hang on. I'll just pull up my notes for this, because I don't need to do anything else. Culture, people... Fuck. Posts... I will try to find that.
Absolutely stunning.
Originally, before we bought it, this used to be a resort. In fact, it was called Gilman Hot Springs. We purchased it in 1978 and we built it into this, spectacular studio. There's over 100 different buildings here, be it the studios or the music studios or the apartments.
This is where we live.
It's really extraordinary the amount of care that goes into making sure we're doing well, that we have everything we need.
All the way down to a personal staff dentist.
Everything is in-house. Like, you have all these facilities that you need for production. It really is a distraction-free environment that you can just create.
This is our main studio. We call it the Castle. It's 72,000 square feet of production facilities. It includes art department, costumes, makeup, research, sets and props, construction. It has 2 sound stages.
Yeah, we have to show it being done in the studio because we can't show it being done by RPFers.
The largest of which is 20,000 square feet, which is the equivalent of a football field or 4 NBA basketball courts. And it's one of the largest freestanding studios in North America. Every single person that works here is an artist. You get creative people with creative people, and you get fantastic products, award-winning documentaries, ads, and so forth.
We don't set limits on creativity.
And the artistry extends across every single department.
We have 22 editing stations. We produce over 2,400 films and videos in a year.
We have a lot of footage that comes in here. We have 140 hours of footage from 20 countries that comes in weekly.
This is the music department in Golden Era Productions, where we do all the music for all our videos, films, ads, and TV shows. In the last year, we scored and recorded and mixed over 28 hours of music, which is about 14 feature films worth of music.
Making films is a hot activity. It's fast. There's many activities happening. There's many projects going on at the same time.
We don't just do films here. We're responsible for the entire legacy of L. Ron Hubbard. Here is where we have his original written scriptures that form the very core of our religion.
We have 1 million pages of Mr. Hubbard's original manuscripts and his research notes.
Well, they gotta call it that, otherwise they can't call themselves a fucking religion. Never mind the fact that it's just administrative documentation.
Scripture my ass, man. Honestly, it's just a load of cojones just listening to that.
When you were in, did you ever think about it like that? Did you ever have that mindset of like, this is script? But I mean,
no.
I don't think anybody did, but
no one refers to it as scripture. I mean, it's so funny to hear scripture, L. Ron Hubbard scripture. And this dude, I mean, in the Creation of Human Ability, which is one of the basic books, he loves to talk about how Jesus Christ went to meet Buddha in India to study underneath him and disappeared during that time.
Fuck?
I mean, it's just, yeah. It's hilarious. It's in the yellow basic book, The Creation of Human Ability. But he references Jesus of Nazareth and how during those years he disappeared. He went, studied underneath the Buddha in India and was greatly inspired and then came back. And he's, L. Ron Hubbard, right? He gives all this information, but with no source. And so it's just like, don't worry.
The sources trust
guys.
me, bro.
It's a fact. It's a fact. Yeah, his sources trust me.
I found it on my whole track.
Exactly. Just good God, man.
250,000 files for every day of every year.
We're following his chronological path day by day, his research path.
Transcribing, proofreading, typesetting.
Every word matters. Every piece of content matters. Nothing's going to be edited, and it has to be perfect.
We verify every word and every comma to make sure that it is exactly as he wrote it.
There's 2 aspects. There's preservation and there's restoration.
This is the audio restoration area, and here we've restored over 2,000 of Mr. Hubbard's lectures. He gave lectures from the late 40s to the 50s and 60s, and those
Still got another 1,000 lectures to go.
These recordings are
We gotta sit through the
sometimes pretty
unedited
rough to hear.
nonsense and gotta listen to him going rah, 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 rah. Like, how do you not fall asleep at your workstation? But then if you fall asleep while you're trying to edit a lecture, are they gonna blame that on an MU?
Yeah, it's part of the it's in the student hat. You've got the phenomena, the phenomena of the misunderstood word. It's
Nodding off, getting
part of
bored.
that. Getting bored, getting tired, getting sleepy, blowing, leaving, all phenomena of misunderstood words, apparently, according to LRH.
But if you're, I don't know how much because like they're not required to necessarily learn this while they're doing the lecture. So my question is, do they have to treat this like the student hat, or do they have to just push through it without understanding what he's talking about? And if they don't understand what he's talking about, does that then cause them to have to go into cramming for this lecture that they aren't necessarily in a course room on? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, they have to learn, they have to listen to
100%.
this, but if they don't understand it, is that on them?
100%. Per policy, if you're a student hat graduate, or you've done the basic study manual, you've done the BSM, and you're following LRH policy and its tech, you would have to clear up every MU that you have. You would have to clear up every single misunderstood words. Per policy, whether they do it, I have no idea. I mean, I remember when I spoke to Mitch, if David Miscavige wrote a dispatch, you couldn't have an MU on a David Miscavige dispatch. You could not have a misunderstood word on his orders.
Pretty sure you had to M9 that shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what I had to do for my fucking program when I spoke to Alex. I had to method 9 words clear. By the way, method 9, right?
You know, they can't just have you word clear one way.
Exactly. Method 9 involves you reading aloud in front of somebody. So when you do your student hat, you have to be able to deliver and give an M9, get someone through a policy where they read it aloud, and you also have to receive it. But there's a catch. It's not just you read a story, or you read a bit of writing, or you read a policy, or you read a letter or a bulletin. No. There's always a catch. The catch is you cannot stutter, you cannot read slowly, you cannot say gulp, twitch, move, hesitate. You have to read flawless. And that could be a 10-page reference, that could be a 10-page policy letter, that could be an 8-page bulletin, whatever it is. When you have anxiety and you are being hovered around by an executive, and the supervisor is watching you to pass you or to flunk or fail you on it, dude, your anxiety kicks in. You're going to stumble for sure. It's inevitable. And what do you say? Oh, no, so I'm really, really sorry. My hands are sweaty. I got a little bit nervous. Okay. So let's find which word you don't fully, or which word or symbol you don't fully understand. That is the way of thinking there. And, that's why I'm like, the robots, I swear to God, man, I swear. What you tell them goes in through one ear and it comes out the other ear. With the fucking acknowledgements and yes, understood. I got that. Okay. Shut the fuck up. You didn't get shit. I'm telling you, I've got anxiety, and you're just like, understood. So which word or symbol do you not fully understand?
My question is, how did L. Ron Hubbard even come to the logic about these physical reactions and stuff? Like, how did he even put 1 and 5 together to make fucking 12? Like, what is his train of thought that caused him to link these unrelateds together?
Yeah, it's just banana. And I used to pull out the reference. There's a book that L. Ron Hubbard did, Use That on Life, which is one of the basic books, and there's a reference there. Chapter 2, Personal Integrity. Scientology is only true if it's true for you, and it's only true for you if you have experienced it or observed it. I think I got that verbatim. I used to pull it out, and I used to get the most outrageous examples. I remember the ED. I was like, I can talk to whoever the fuck I want to talk to. I can speak to Alex. I can speak to any of these guys. And then the ED was like, yeah, well, listen, I could also go and bang a hooker, or I could also show up to muster at 12 o'clock instead of 9 a.m. because it's not true for me, right? And so it's only true if it's true for you, so that I'm keeping my personal integrity.
You could also
But,
jump off a bridge and blow your brains out.
Exactly. But you understand the way of thinking and the insanity, and it gets to a point where you just, ignore these guys and you're just trying to get through it because there's no point in debating with them. Like I said, it goes in through one ear and it goes out the other ear. They're not listening to anxiety. They're not listening to anything you're saying at all. It's just completely inhumane. Inhumane is the best way I can describe it.
They're not looking for any why other than that, other than the MU.
Yeah, exactly.
Months ago, I remember sitting back and saying, well, that's that.
So we do what we do here to restore and bring his voice out so you can hear him just as if you were standing there talking to him.
About 7 months ago, I remember sitting back and saying, well, that's that.
This is nostalgic.
In doing this, we had an effect.
I mean, usually nostalgia indicates some kind of positive emotion.
Oh fuck, no, definitely not positive. But I tell you, like when they showed that recorder, I mean, you can't just use that recorder. You have to be checked out and star rated on the manual before you take a DVD, put it in, and press play, and stick the headphones on. It's so everything there is so overcomplicated. I remember when they got a new shredder because the shredder broke. They got a new shredder. They put it into the exec office. Everyone got a communication in their basket. Your basket is where you go to collect messages, communications, right? When you went to your basket, everyone got a communication, pages long, which was the manual for the shredder. You could not shred anything or use the shredder until you got checked out and made sure you had no misunderstood words on the manual. So if there's any techie terms about, I don't know, like what does pause mean? And you said pause, well, it means to stop something or whatever. They'd go, there's more to it. There's more to it. Clear up pause and then we'll check you out again. Like it's so, and I love this because I can talk about the flaws and whatnot, but everything is so highly, and that's why everything takes so long and they're not fast. Everything takes so long and it's so overcomplicated there.
On the entire field of audio restoration, actually developing new technology to make those recordings available.
Another thing we do here, other than produce new films, is we restore some films that might have been shot 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Film that would have by any...
That's L. Ron Hubbard's Gradation film, which anyone can watch in any organization. It's about half an hour long, and L. Ron Hubbard is filmed talking about the bridge. Right, he's actually filmed. You can see him, not just hear him, but see him. I got told when I was at HES, Amir, you need to watch this video 20 times and then you'll get a cognition about it. When you get that cognition, come back to me. So I had to watch that film multiple times that just played right now.
Love it. Hell no. Dude, I'd be pissed if I had to watch it twice.
Technology to make those recordings available.
Another thing we do here, other than produce new films, is we restore some films that might have been shot 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Film that would have by any standard thought to be completely unable to be salvaged.
And here at Golden Air Productions, we have probably the top film restoration technology in the entire world because it is that important to us.
We take this very seriously because we're actually delivering the message from the scriptures of our founder. The first step is analog film. We scan it into the computers, then we have digital content. We've been scanning for almost 10 years now, resolution that's 8 times higher than.
And he probably hasn't gotten much sleep in more years than that.
The best in the world. The best. We have the best. It's like Trump. When Trump says, nobody knows more about tax than me. Nobody knows more about inflation than I do. It's the same thing. We have the best film, better than Criterion, better than
Better than
National Film
Spielberg.
Archives, better than all these producers that have been working restoring films from 100 years ago in the 20s. Like, we are the best in the world. Believe that.
I mean, you can get
Oh,
decent
man.
quality if you fucking have enough slave labor. And if you yell at them enough, eventually they're going to
man.
do what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, all these guys are getting $50 a week. Oh, good lord. Oh my god.
HD. So we're actually pioneers into the field.
This is like NASA level technology.
We go through and we clean every frame
NASA
one at
level.
a time.
Fuck off. This ain't fucking NASA, bitch.
NASA level.
I gotta talk to either Mitch or Mark to watch over this video again and see if they can recognize any of the other people, because then I'll be able to add more people to my phone.
Yeah.
And we've actually done a total of 3.2 million frames so far.
And that's the responsibility we have being entrusted with the original scriptures, is to maintain the exactness, to maintain the integrity of those documents.
I'd say take
You
a
could
drink
liken
every
it
time you
to a
say
bridge,
scriptures,
and an
but you're
engineer
gonna get
building a
alcohol
bridge.
poisoning.
There's an exact degree of perfection. There's an exact standard to make sure that that bridge is safe for others to cross.
Everything we do here gets sent
I
to
gotta
the
deal with
translations
Hubbard, okay?
unit.
Right here on this property, we produce 16 languages. There's Chinese, Russian,
Norwegian or Danish or Greek.
And I think what makes us international is that our message and what we're doing is international.
Another one of the activities the studio engages in are international events.
They're absolutely packed with people from all over the world.
From Germany, Greece, Italy, France, the UK, Canada, Japan, Taiwan. And the excitement starts here, right from the first moment we start producing, all the way until the moment when the curtain opens.
It's not excitement. It's pure panic.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got these people that talk about David Miscavige like he's the second coming of Christ, but then when he walks around the hallway, everyone shits their pants. You know, it's not like they're overly enthusiastic and, oh my God, sir, it's so, how are you? So, no, they shit themselves whenever they see him walking by. If he comes for like a surprise, okay, if he comes and he wants to check out St. Hill and see, you know, there would be, and there's policy on this as well in the data series on surprise inspections. Everyone shits themselves. Everyone shits themselves. They're in utter fear. And also, these events, bullshit. I mean, again, I know all the figures. Okay, the IS event, right? You've got all these flags. And then look at right there, in between the 25, you've got the world, a globe. It is called the International Association of Scientologists. You're telling me when you take guys from Italy, staff and public, okay, staff and public, plus the guys you've already got at St. Hill, when you take the guys from Italy and Australia and America and Scotland and everyone in England and Denmark and all over Europe, the best that you can muster up is 4,000 people from all over Europe and North America and South America. The best that you can muster up in the IS event is 4,000 or 5,000 people. I mean, the propaganda, man, the delusion of we're clearing the world, we're saving the world. Look at this event. It's bigger than last year. The numbers are better than last year. All bullshit. And apparently at last year's IS event, which I was at, I think there was only 3,000 people there.
How many of them were staff, though?
Weakest. I mean, the majority are staff in Sea Org, because it's a Sea Org base anyway. But yeah, exactly. Majority of them are staff in Sea Org, coming from all over the world to reg and fundraise and make money for the IS. Our quota, the number, Scotland's number, not speaking for London, because it's, by the way, the UK paid for that tent. We were told, we were briefed by COIS that the UK paid for that tent that you see, where the event, which nearly collapsed It was so windy last year. The chandeliers and everything up, the lighting, everything was swaying from side to side. Like literally, like several people were like, I thought I was gonna die. I thought a chandelier or the lighting was gonna fall on my head. It was so unstable. David Miscavige said apparently the ED's meeting that it's built to withstand 4 or 5 times what it was going through, and it's super, super, super safe.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway,
I mean, it would have been. I don't know. I think it would have been funny as shit to hear about if the tent actually collapsed. But then again, if that happened, who would he be bitching at? Who would be getting the shit end?
Oh yeah, that would be
And then you get.
I mean, you got
all those people probably either RPF'd or EPF cat beat or whatever.
Yeah, the EPFers, the EPFers were everywhere. Because I was told, hey Amir, are you if you get a minute when you're not fundraising or trying to reg people for 100 grand, can you come help out? Just build this tent. So I had security escort me, not this tent that you see right here in this image, but on the left hand side next to it, which is the seminar tent, slightly smaller than this one. But I'd be helping build the 4D campaigns. Okay, so like the Drug Free World tent and whatnot. I'd just help for 5 minutes building that, putting the lighting up and whatnot. And then you would just see EPFers everywhere. And actually, a guy told me, Amir, listen, if you ever join the Sea Org, do not join the Sea Org at the end of the year during IES time, because you will get nailed with work. Nailed. You will be up all night with setting this event up and taking this event down. So even guys that were like, join the Sea Org, but don't join the Sea Org at the end of the year, were scared about the work that goes into this, especially for the EPFers.
I feel so bad for them.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them are minors as well. That's who I feel bad for, the minors. The guys that are 14, 15, 13 that get recruited into joining the Sea Org and have guys jump on a Sea Org bus to their house to convince the parents to allow this to happen. And then he leaves home for good. Could be, and this is why people call it a human trafficking call and whatnot, right? But when you send a 14-year-old to another country in the middle of nowhere in Israel, or to go and help out there, or to go to Ukraine, to Kiev, to help out in the mission there, he can't see his family for 3-4 years. He's a minor. He's 14 years old. Which happens because they don't give a fuck, because a kid is an immortal spiritual being in an adult in a child's body, and so the viewpoint is disgusting. It's inhumane. It's completely inhumane. But that is part of the recruitment strategy, is the recruitment of minors to grow and expand these AOs and these Class 5 organizations.
This is fucking brutal.
Yeah, big time.
It's always quite a moment when the leader of the church walks on stage.
Yeah, everybody's shitting their pants.
That standing ovation's like 10 minutes.
What?
That standing ovation is about 10 minutes long.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it
just reminds me of fucking North Korea.
Yeah, that perfect example. Yes. Yeah, as soon as they see him, basically what happens is you go into the IS event, they play a massive trailer, which is usually the IS trailer. The lights go dark, so you can't see anything. Then the lights go up, and then David walks on stage, just like you see now. Everyone gets up for about 10 minutes. And for 10 minutes, he's just like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you. And it just gets louder and louder. And then you've got a standing ovation every 6 minutes. By the way, this all gets cut. All of this gets cut. So whatever audio you may listen to, or whatever DVD gets sent to the orgs, all of this gets cut because it's just too much fucking clapping and standing ovation. That's all. That's why it's like 3 hours, the event.
I was gonna say, for fuck's sake, like the Golden Age of Tech event. Oh, not the Golden Age of Tech. Well, yeah, Golden Age of Tech and Golden Age of Knowledge.
Yeah,
I was gonna say the clapping wasn't even that bad on the DVDs, and those were like what, 2-3 hours, just by themselves.
Lord knows what they cut out. Yeah, Lord knows what they cut out. I mean, the clapping is too much. I mean, you're getting up every 5 or 6 minutes. Oh, sit down. And then it's also incorporated into his speech. So he pauses at specific moments. For example, he'll talk about CCHR and how they've, you know, the bust down on the psychs and how they've done all this stuff to tackle psychiatry. And they'll probably give someone a freedom medal because of the work that they've done against psychiatry and whatnot. And then he'll say, and that gives it for our 2025 IS event. And then he'll pause. But it's actually the person that writes his speech puts in, and he's also reading the teleprompters. There's one to his left and one to his right. And so he has his notes in front of him of what he's going to be talking about. And he also rehearses it the day before. So the captain, all the Sierra guys will go into that tent for the IS event, and David will he won't say the names of the Freedom Medal winners, but he'll rehearse the whole entire thing, and then he'll do the actual legit one on Friday. That's how that works. But these pauses are very strategically put into his speech by whoever writes it, and so he'll pause, and people will then know to get up and start clapping for 5 or 6 minutes for him.
I'm just picturing it now. He takes this and turns it into like the standing ovation rundown or some shit where people are paying $5,000 to just repeatedly sit, stand, sit, stand, sit, stand.
Probably, yeah.
The events give Scientologists an opportunity to hear what is happening within the religion and within our social betterment programs.
So it's what they want you to think is happening.
To have that view backstage and peeking through the curtains to see what that means to everybody, I mean, it's priceless. It really is. It's amazing.
Within a week, that event will be shown to every Scientologist throughout the world in their own language.
They can see what the results of their own actions are doing and how much what they're doing is actually helping the world.
There is another aspect to this place. For me, as a Scientologist, it's kind of personal. When I was about 8 years old, I realized that I wanted to be an artist. And I realized the way to change the world was through art.
Every day that I'm working means another day that I might keep a kid off drugs. You know, every day that I'm finishing a public service announcement might mean that someone in some corner of the world is going to see it and it's going to give them hope.
We're saving lives, and that is what gets us up in the morning. That is how you go to bed at night.
And that is very special to us. We feel very honored to be able to say that that is what we do.
Every lecture that we restore, every film that we make, it's part of that. It's a brick on that bridge. It's a pathway to a better life for someone. So suddenly my job and what I'm doing is so much more meaningful because of the impact it could have on someone else's life.
So that's what we're doing here at Gold. We're disseminating that good word and that help to others.
Pretty sure that's the Qual building. I don't know why the fuck they'd show that.
These fuckers, man, they've got balls. I mean, I couldn't name you one person that they helped get off drugs in Scotland. I couldn't name you one. I couldn't name you one. And their reaction to anybody that is going through alcohol problems, they'd kick them off. They'd kick them out. You know, sir, no alcohol on the premises. Sir, you're drunk, you're not allowed to do this or do this. And, you know, if you want to do your pure, fine, cough up $2,000. And if you can't do that, then you're fucked, you know. And you have to pay another $200, another £200 for your vitamins and minerals that you're going to be taking for a month. And then you have to pay for your doctor's appointment, which could be another $150. So cough up $3,000 and then you can eventually do your purification rundown. But you know, they don't help guys with drugs. They'll hand out flyers, fine. They'll go into stores and stick, excuse me, sir, we have a flyer called Truth About Drugs. Would it be okay if I stick this in your store? Cool music, by the way. But that's what they'll do. But they don't help anybody. And it's just, again, it's part of SNP's propaganda and the bullshit that portray, but they don't help anybody get off drugs or alcohol or anything like that at all, unless you cough up a large sum of money.
And it's always in fucking like some most like remote section of the globe too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like you don't hear 26,000 kids helped off drugs in Florida or some shit. Like
Yeah, it's not a statistic. Oh my God. I mean, it's drugs is a serious problem. And life is obviously a very tough thing, and people that are alcoholics or consume a lot of alcohol and they're going through a rough time. Scientologists, their work certainly anyway doesn't show any care for these guys. And there's nothing in L. Ron Hubbard policy about looking after the homeless and about donating money to charity or sticking in $1 or sticking in £5 or whatever to these guys. There's nothing. I mean, they have 8 dynamics. Their 5th dynamic is to do with the animal kingdom. I've never seen an animal shelter before. I've never seen David Miscavige start up an animal shelter project or program and say, let's get that up and running. Let's do some work there. Let's make a statistic about how many strays that we rescued, vaccinated, and then got out there into homes where they were cared for. There's nothing like that. As far as I'm concerned, the 5th dynamic is completely been abandoned. They have 4th dynamic campaigns, which is a load of shite, which is a load of cojones. But it's just, you just got to open your eyes and as LRH would say, like, what's true for you, right? What do you experience? What do you observe? You've got the flag rep in front of you, raving, jumping up and down, saying that she's clearing the planet. And then you've got the Corsham on the left-hand side, which is dead empty, collecting dust. Just go with what you observe. Go with what you observe, because they like to change. What you see is not really what you see. And yeah, the buildings are empty, but everyone's coming on course tonight. And we're clearing the planet, but then you look at the facts, you look at the figures. We're at clear number 79,000. Okay, you haven't even cleared a town or a village or whatever. So you just gotta look. You just gotta look, and you gotta get all the facts together, and you have to be willing to look at it as well. If you're not willing to look at it, then you're still living in the bubble. But yeah. Anyway.
Heather Max says a body router once told me they got all of Africa off drugs due to handing out the way to happiness.
That's an outrageous claim. That is an absolutely outrageous fucking all of Africa.
It says all of Africa.
Bloody hell. These people, man. One flew over the cuckoo's nest.
And I don't know how they expect anyone to believe it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised that the Sykes don't like LRH. I mean, he probably went to them with all these ideas and shit, and then they were like,
he got laughed at by the
"Excuse
American
me, sir, Section 3 is over there."
When he first came out with Dianetics, I'm pretty sure he was laughed at by the Sykes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was part of a pilot project where someone actually used ChatGPT, a very, very big whale, and another Sea Org guy, right, called David. But they used ChatGPT just to basically get the no bullshit analysis on reviews, because also in the PR series, even in the absolute fundamentals, right? Ron Hubbard talks a lot about surveying the people just to get the reality on, the state of things. But they basically use ChatGPT because they're also mad fans of ChatGPT. Guys like Manuel Suarez, Tom Cummings, massive fans of ChatGPT. But they did a survey on what everyone was saying on Amazon, people that were buying Dianetics, how they would review it. And anyway, they came to their own conclusion of why academics and people discredited it and didn't like it. And I don't know why LRH wrote so much. I'm telling you, I don't know why he wrote so much. I mean, there was a review on Dianetics that someone said This book is like 3-4x as long as it needs to be. There's just so much repetition. And then you look at the size of the management series, and you look at the size of the OEC volumes, and then you look at, over 3,000 lectures, which most people are not going to listen to in their lifetimes. Like, there's just such a ridiculous amount of stuff. And then also when you start doing the basics and you go through the basics, there's so much commonality. Like, what is a game? And you as an immortal spiritual thetan, and your reactive mind and stable datums and one thing at a time. And I know I'm throwing out all this terminology, but it's just the same shit in every single book. It's anyway, I'm just expressing all of this frustration
You're
to you,
good.
but I can't help but just piss myself laughing at it.
I mean, I've only ever really suffered through Dianetics and maybe the problems of work. But other than that, I have
Right,
not
right.
actually read any of his other books.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, people still suffer through Dianetics till this day. I remember there was a lady who was with the FEBC exec esto, and she was in the kitchen and they were having a coffee, and she was like, Dianetics is the hardest thing I think a human being could ever fucking study. And she was just having this meltdown about it in the kitchen. But it's true. I mean, everyone melts down at Dianetics, whether you've done the student hat or whether with study technology and without study technology. It doesn't make a difference. That book is not easy to understand. You've got a book written in 1950 with all this fucking terminology. It's not an easy book to understand. I mean, people cry through that book. People leave and fuck off from when they study that book. It is not an easy book to learn at all. At all. It's hell.
I just remember the fucking, what is it? I remember the excess on abortion talk, and
right.
Was it the Black Panther explanation or whatever the fuck, the Black Panther rules of fight or
the
flight?
Black Panther analogy.
But
fucking
yeah,
idiot.
no, I
Honestly.
read that book probably 4 or 5 years ago. No, I'm not picking it up. If I do anything with it, it's going to be through audiobook because I can't stomach that shit.
Yeah, big time. I mean, I was told that by when my grandfather passed away, and I was experiencing so much loss and heartbreak, the LOH communicator told me, Amir, don't be so down-toned, you're making everybody else down-toned. Also, she said, no case on post. And then she basically gave me the Black Panther reference about how you could choose to ignore it or you could choose to confront it or whatever. And I was just like, fuck you, you're being a robot. And then I had a knowledge report written on me. And just, these guys are so... There's no humanity whatsoever. And, they're just robots. They're just mindless robots, and it's just like a rat race. And Chris Shelton put it so well, and he's got an excellent channel as well. And I'm a massive, massive fan of Chris and just his simplicity of putting things together. But there's no, if you just want to sit down and be a fucking human being and fuck L. Ron Hubbard policy for a second, and let's just one-to-one, heart-to-heart speak to each other and grab a coffee or some shit. There's none of that. There's none of that at all. And I think that's why a lot of good people end up leaving and just running away, is they can't handle the harsh treatment. And good on them. Good on them. I mean, why would you dedicate 40, 50 years working every single day without a day off, doing over 100 hours a week with absolutely no fucking pay, taking, being sworn at, cussed at, degraded, spat on, stuck on the RPF, not being fed properly, not getting the right nutrition, having all your human rights taken away from you. Why would people put up with that? Why would they? And so, a lot of these guys that leave and speak out are just heroes. They are absolute heroes. And these guys are paving the way for the other guys to leave, setting up these different foundations, allowing members that want to flee to stable terminals, to flee to stable people, to, you know, build their lives, to get a place to stay, to have families, to be financially comfortable and provided for. That's why you have all these phenomenal guys that have left and spoke out and got the word out there. Multiple guys that worked at that base, where we just saw this glamorous trailer of how it looks like a haven and how anyone would just leap at this opportunity to work there. But then you read these books and it's like hell. It's honestly, it is like hell on earth, the way that David Miscavige would hold these 5-hour meetings and jump over the table and grab you by the collar and pin you against the wall and smack your head and concuss you, or just walk down the hallway and just punch you in the fucking face because you looked at him wrong. I mean, the level of arrogance here. But yeah, anywho, yeah. This isn't new knowledge, you know, this isn't new information. But anyway.
It's just the fact that I'm like, I'm trying to think. It's in my notes, it's in organizations and places, and it's literally a section dedicated to all of the beatings I have learned about so far just from David Miscavige. Got like 15 of them.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
fuck.
Oh, only 15.
So far. I know I'm missing a lot more. I also, there was also the...
Yeah.
I can't remember what the woman's name was, but it was like during the power vacuum struggle. Before Hubbard died, I think it was.
Annie Broker?
Yeah, it might have been Annie. Yeah, when he kidnapped her and broke a payphone.
Oh fuck, I don't know that.
But no, he you know what? Hang on.
I'm sure someone will though.
Oh yeah,
someone
sure.
will definitely know that.
But I know there was an event where some woman had like escaped and was trying to like kind of run away, and she made it to this payphone, and Miscavige and some of his people pulled up, found her at the payphone. David Miscavige walks out of the back of a van with a crowbar and smashes the payphone because she's oh no, it's not Annie. It was somebody else, but they were talking to Pat Broker.
Right.
But yeah, so David destroyed the payphone. They grabbed her, threw her in the van, and took off.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Rinder alone probably had over 15 beatings and got whacked many times during meetings and in hallways and at that base, and also Lord knows what happened in the hole when those guys were subjected to that kind of torture for years. But yeah, you know, just people that, you know, Marty Rathbun and Mike and Tom Devo and I think even Debbie Cook, he threatened to break Debbie Cook's finger or something like that, you know. So I don't know if Dave touched a woman or ended up beating up a woman or slapped her. I'm sure he pushed women, but certainly he did threaten to break their bones and whatnot. So there's a lot of people that obviously have their stories and have had their beatings with him, but yeah, there's a lot. You'll definitely get past the 15 number for sure when you go deeper into it.
Oh yeah, there's still a lot of ex-member books I have yet to read. I haven't even started Jefferson Hawkins or Jesse Prince. I finished Mark Headley a while ago.
Yeah.
Right now I'm trying to work.
On the west coast of Florida, overlooked.
So this is from Golden Era Productions, and this is a tour of the land base.
Right.
Looking the Gulf of Mexico stands the Church of Scientology's advanced religious retreat and spiritual mecca, the Flag Land Base.
Flag.
Comprised of more than 40 buildings across a 9-square-mile grid, totaling more than 2 million square feet, Flag is the literal hub of the Scientology world. To begin, there is Flag's Sandcastle Advanced Organization, providing the highest level of Scientology training and counseling. It's here parishioners from 60 nations arrive for advanced.
And when I look at this, I don't see an empty course room. I see what I've heard from other people. I see people sitting there having to do demo kits while the supervisor's writing them a fucking pink sheet.
Church.
I was literally just at the Paris Ideal Org because I got sent to France for a membership conference. Dude, it's empty. It's empty. It's empty because we were able, all the guys from different countries around the world were there for this meeting and conference, and we pissed about in Paris a lot. We like leaving the hotel and did shit. But the fact that we were able at peak time to get tours of the course room, and the course room was empty in the Paris Ideal Org, which just opened last year, says it all. I mean, these course rooms are dead. They're dead.
Services. And with new churches opening across 5 continents.
The fact that I know now that there are microphones and hidden cameras in those rooms. That everything's getting fucking recorded.
Yeah, and they use it they use it on their internship, on their when they're auditing, they use it because they'll take you in session, they'll record it, they will not tell you that they're recording you at all. They'll press play, take you in session. Thank you very much. That's the end of the session. You start putting your socks back on or whatever, and you put the cans down, and then they press stop. They then send it to RTC or send it to St. Hill, and they'll then listen to the entire thing and grade it and mark it. So that's your sessions are definitely recorded for sure.
The numbers coming to Flag increase at an unprecedented rate. To meet the growing demand, Flag has embarked on its greatest expansion in history. On the boards are new facilities for the delivery of Flag's religious services. The existing Sandcastle Advanced Organization will continue to provide services while the church readies Flag's new 60,000 square foot Advanced Organization expansion building, doubling current delivery space. This building will include expanded facilities for the training and apprenticeship of hundreds of Scientology counselors. It will also house 5 new counseling centers, expressly reserved for those participating in the upper-level services provided by Flag's Advanced Organization. While to provide for the ever-growing number of Scientologists coming to Flag, there are parishioner accommodations. The Fort Harrison has been a Clearwater landmark for more than 80 years and home to Flag for better than 3 decades. It was rededicated on March 13, 2009, after undergoing a complete restoration, top to bottom, preparing this classic for another 100 years of service. First, there is the Grand Lobby.
I will say, getting to flip off Flag in person with Carmen was fucking awesome. We took a fucking trip down there back in like 2024. We went through a bunch of the South for like a week.
Whoa.
And we ended up in Clearwater as like one of our last destinations before going back home.
Yeah.
We got Mark Bunker to give us a tour of the city. And
shout out to Mark, man.
And we had passed
awesome.
the old Clearwater Bank building, which was the visitor center, the Scientology Visitor Center.
Yeah.
And I said to Mark, I said, you cool if we go in for a sec? He's like, yeah, sure. So we walk up to the doors, and as we're approaching, Sea Org member comes out, pulls them shut, locks them. It was so cool. And Carmen thought she was in a fucking like movie town. She thought she was in like a town of a fucking movie set. She's like, it's dead. There's nothing going on here.
It's dead. There's fucking... Dude, it's like a ghost town at Flag. Clearwater, like, they've bought all the, the property in that area. It is a fucking ghost town completely. I mean, that baffled me. I never went to Flag. I went to St. Hill numerous times. However, guys that went to Flag, would put it on YouTube, and I'd watch all these tours. Guys that, try to infiltrate it, or guys that would walk around and tour you around Clearwater, and the Sandcastle, which is another hotel that they'll come to, and the Fort Harrison, and the front entrance. But they would just walk around, and I watched numerous videos about it. It's fucking dead. It's sad. It's like honestly, it's like a village. You know, you got no one walking on the sidewalk or on the pavement at all. It is dead
The only
completely.
people we ever saw, I think, were like 2 Sea Org members. Well, 3 if you count the one that was not trailing us, but he passed by on his bike, and he was yelling off our description
Yeah.
into his fucking walkie. It's kind of cool. I don't know why
Yeah,
I hate saying
yeah.
this, but I enjoyed being stalked by the church.
Did you find it
Oh, it
exhilarating?
was so much fun. It was so fun, especially when Carmen elbows me and she goes, "You see that?" I'm like, "What?" She says, "That van has circled us 3 times now." And here I am just looking at like, "Ooh, Wise headquarters," or some shit, like, not
Oh
paying
yeah,
attention
Wise.
to
Yeah,
any
for
of the
sure.
stalking behavior, just all the different buildings and stuff.
Did you ever try and speak to any of them?
No, but I did see one lady with her baby walking by, and the back
Yeah.
of her shirt was "Cause Resurgence."
Right. Yeah. I mean, Cause Resurgence, you get a T-shirt for it that you get to keep.
And we went
And Superpower, when you finish Superpower, you get a whole uniform and shoes. You get Superpower shoes that you get to keep and take with you.
Wow, how generous. A pair of fucking sneakers for after hundreds of thousands of dollars and a tracksuit.
Superpower costs 40 grand to do.
I didn't know that.
It's the most
I didn't know how expensive
it's
it was. I
for-
thought it was like 100,000.
No, you only get it for free if you're on staff and you get sent to do it as part of your training because it's part of your program. Or if you're SO, if you're a Sea Org member, and then you have to do it as part of your training or whatever, because you would only ever do it because it's part of your training program. You couldn't just say, I want to do blah, and they would say, okay, no problem. No, it doesn't work like that at all. But the actual price of Cause Resurgence is 1900s. That's how much Cause Resurgence is. Big gap. Big fucking gap from Superpower. But yeah, Superpower is, if you were to ask me, Amir, what's the most expensive thing? One course that is the most expensive thing. Take away training packages. Take away intensives. Okay? An intensive package, like 12 intensives is okay, one intensive is 12.5 hours of auditing. So 12 is about 13 grand. And then the training packages are 6 grand, and it's split into 2. You have a beginning training package and a professional training package. So combine that, it's 12 grand to train up to class 5. So I mean, if you're making 30 grand a year or whatever your salary is, 12 grand of that, if you wanted to train up to class 12, you'd have to pay 12 grand for that training package. But if you were to ask me, Amir, what is the most expensive course that you can think of, because you obviously worked there very recently, I cannot think of anything more expensive than Superpower. And also, people used to brag about it. Like, people, when you look at the TikTok pages, these guys wear their Superpower badge. They don't wear their class 5 badge. They don't wear, the golden age of knowledge badge when you finish all those courses. They wear their Superpower badge. And also, when I asked the guy from the DSA, right, the guy from the Office of Special Affairs in the class 5 orgs, the representative, he would rock up in this suit for the IS event, and he had one badge, only one. He didn't wear his FABC badge. And I was like, why did you pick that badge? He was like, well, FABC would be like me showing off, but Superpower is one that I'm actually really, really proud of. But I just found it to be a commonality. A lot of these guys rock around with their Superpower badge and whatnot. But that is the most expensive course that I can think of. It literally cost 40 fucking grand to do.
Yeah, I just loaded up my the notes that I had on Superpower. Just the shit that these people are going through. Ethics repair list, personal revival rundown, false data and loss rundown.
You got all the rundowns.
Yeah, study rundown, bright think,
false purpose rundown,
perception rundown. That's where you get all like the 57 perceptics.
That's
Power of
right.
choice
You get put
rundown.
into your jumpsuit. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get put into your jumpsuit, you get given your shoes, you then go into that massive. I don't know if you can pull up a picture of what the superpower room looks like, of when you have to go around doing these 57 perceptions. And I remember I asked the FBO in Scotland and Happy, like, dude, you're Superman. Tell me this. You know, I would joke around with all this kind of shit. He would tell me when he did superpower, he could feel in his body radiation and where the nearest satellite would be. So if you want to talk about like a phone tower, like a satellite tower, he could point in the direction it was in. He also told me that when he did superpower, he knew in his body when his salt was too low. That was one of his perceptions. He was like, I know when I've had enough salt and when my salt's low, because that was part of his 57 perceptions. Apparently, he could detect that in his body of when certain things were low and when he had to get other things. So, you know, these guys do rock around like they are these mega powerful, superhuman theta beings. You know, honestly, it's something out of Ron sci-fi books.
Seriously, it fucking is.
Yeah. Yeah, big
Just
time. Big time.
watching. Have you watched any of like the success story or wins like videos, testimonials?
Oh yeah, the highly over the top dramatic wins.
Yeah, the guy who's like, I can
Yeah.
almost smell Ron's ink. It's like, dude, fuck off.
Fuck off, man. Get fucked. I finished a course once, and I made it my mission whenever I got my exam to know that I finished. I made it my mission. I got told off for this. I made it my mission to make the examiner piss himself laughing. I loved breaking his TRs. So I remember he said, here you go, you can write your success story. And I used to get on really, really well with him. And I put, yeah, it was good. And then I handed it back to him. And he was not happy about that. He was like, well, Amir, come on, you gotta write an acceptable success story. It has to be an acceptable success story. So then I was like, oh, okay, you should have told me. I took it back. And I was like, this is the best thing I ever had in my entire life. And I just wrote pages and pages and pages and pages and pages just to really fuck with him. Also, when you get an exam, the examiner has to write down everything that you say. So when you hold the cans and he makes sure that you FN, you get a floating needle. I sat down and I knew that the examiner had to write down everything that I tell him. So I would sit down and I'd go, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, blah, 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 blah. Okay, have fun writing that down.
You try to stump the examiner?
Always. I loved it. And every time I made him piss himself with laughter. And I got told off for it. And I was like, and then, they pulled me aside and they were like, Amir, you're supposed to think about the session when you sit down with the examiner, not other things. Otherwise, it's too distracting. So it's hilarious.
I had no idea they had to transcribe everything you said. I literally thought their only fucking job, well, not their only job, but one of their jobs was I knew it was the FN check, but I didn't think they needed to fucking talk to you for that.
Oh yeah, I mean exams are quick. Exams take like a minute or something if you actually sit down. The longest part about an exam is how long it takes you to actually get on the meter. By the time it takes you to warm your hands up, do you need cream? Do you need to warm your feet up? Do you need a blanket? Do you need to take your socks off? Socks on, socks off. Okay, is this chair comfortable? Okay, cool. Is the room warm enough? Okay, all the things that you would do to usually go in session, to actually go and get audited, you would need to do for an exam. So that takes the longest part. But when you actually go on the cans, like a few seconds you're holding the cans and he's like, thank you very much, your needle's floating. Done. Unless you red tag and you don't get an FN or whatever. But yeah, I used to crack him up every fucking time because, it just gets too serious. And it was the same thing with the IS event. Whenever I went to the IS event, I used to impersonate the chief officer IS, and the chief officer IS is Italian. So I used to, or COCLO, okay, the commanding officer of CLO of the UK would come, and I'd be like, sir, I got it all under control. Don't worry, sir. Don't even move a muscle. And I would just fuck with everybody because the IS event turns into the Wolf of Wall Street, and everyone is so tense, and they've got their phones and their laptops and 3 coffees and espressos, and they're staying up all night in the Great Hall working to make 500 grand or whatever. So I had to joke. I had to. In fact, you know what? The only people that did not find me funny or laugh at my jokes was when I went to the OSA office in Sussex at St Hill. You leave St Hill, you cross the roads, you walk down up like a couple of minutes to the right. You've got CLO Continental Liaison Office. I got a tour. I met Janet Laveau. I met the commanding officer of OSA. I met the guy that was investigating me, Micah, whatever the fuck his name is. I met all the guys there and all the ladies that were working in the OSA office as well. But I'd be like, Coach, put me in. But I mean, those guys are fucking tough, man. I mean, OSA, like I'm telling you, they probably haven't smiled since they were 7 years old. Like those guys are like stone cold, like Medusa. You know, you look them dead in the eye, you're just in stone completely. But yeah, I used to take the piss out of everything and everyone.
What was it like meeting Jenny DeVocht? I'm very curious.
I never met.
Oh, I
Jenny
thought you said Jenny DeVocht. My bad.
No, I met Janet Laveau.
Oh, okay.
Janet Laveau was the CEO, also commanding officer of OSA. Jenny DeVocht, though, is still in. I had the pleasure of talking to Tom. I talked to Tom Devo, and he's great guy, phenomenal. And the fact that he would even be fucking willing to speak to me on the phone, I was grateful for that alone. But Jenny's still in. You'll see her on hate websites. She makes videos about Tom. She has done still to this day. She has in the past. She's come out on national TV and actually.
Yeah, I saw the video. It was like it was her, Kathy Rinder, and someone else.
Yeah, I think maybe
Anne Rathman or something.
Marty Rathman's. Exactly. And they came out on Anderson Cooper, and they were just like, you know, what's funny is they're like repeating the same lines. They're copying off each other's notes, and they're like, I know every inch of Tom DeVocht's body.
That's how they became the Inchwives.
And then, exactly. And then the next one's like, I know every inch of Marty's body. And it's just like, guys, you couldn't have prepped them any better. Like, you couldn't have not, like, this one's cheating on this one's notes.
Could have come up with fucking anything. Instead, they go with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just comic, you know, when you actually sit and watch this shit.
I'm gonna be honest, I've only ever heard about the interview with the wives. I've never actually seen it. And I feel and now I want to.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you would just think that they're robots, you know, like they've been drilled or they've been briefed or they've been told what to say, what to talk about, what not to talk about. They've sat down, the 4 or 5 of them. They're there. They're being questioned by Anderson. Anderson just wants a straight answer, and they fucking loop off into different directions. Never give a straight. By the way, that's actually part of the communications course. There is a training drill or a TR where you are told that the point of it is not to answer the question. And so someone will say, "Fuck," I'm trying to think of an example, but someone will say, "Wow, the paint is so beautiful on that wall," and you'll say, "Yeah, I seen that paint, seen the guy buy the paint yesterday." That's how you would have to answer it. So it's actually built into the communications course, not how to handle and not answer questions and whatnot. But that is exactly what they were doing with Anderson Cooper.
That's so fucked. I had no idea that existed.
Yeah. It's on a course called Success Through Communication, or the STCC.
I feel like there's a drill on there specifically about not answering questions.
Oh yeah, avoid the question. Yeah, absolutely. Because I had I used to study in the course room, and then because there's no supervisors or no students, I used to get pulled off by the supervisor and said, "Amir," you know, they just tap me on the shoulder if I'm listening to a lecture with my headphones on or something. "Amir, if you don't mind, can you help out with this new Division 6 student, just for 5-10 minutes maximum?" Obviously, it's not 5-10 minutes. It's just a load of cojones. But you go over, you help this guy out of the goodness of your heart because you want to help someone out, right? You can't just say no. So I used to help. I helped many people out on the STCC. there's loads of comm courses. There's loads. There's the VM comm course, okay, the little booklet, which is £4. That comm course is £24. The comm course is £20, and then I think the I'm just doing this at the top of my head, and then yeah, the booklet's £4. There's the SDCC, Success to Communication. There's Pro TRs. There's Upper End Doc. There's Staff TRs. There is another communications course as well. There's several. There's fucking several communications courses. Yeah. There's several. But that is one of the TRs, and I don't know if you can, access it via PDF online, but the pack is a blue pack, and it's just like a handshake like this, but it's called Successful Communication. It cost £67, so maybe $80, something like that. But yeah, that is a TR. Don't answer the question.
Sorry, I'm just looking through my shit, trying to see if I have a copy of the Success Through Communication course.
Yeah.
Tracker, you are fine. My dog is being a spaz. Hang on. Okay.
What's your dog's
Tracker.
name? Tracker. Awesome.
Getting someone to continue talking. Training drill 2E. No answer.
Yeah. That's what they displayed though. TR2.
That's I mean, I knew about TR2 and 2.5, but I did not know about 2A, B, C, D, E, F.
Yeah, you know what? It just depends on which course you're doing. But there's loads of TRs. There's more TRs. It just depends on, because L. Ron Hubbard obviously believes taking everything on a gradient. So you work your way up the communications courses, and then you get introduced to TR9 and the physical stuff of, I need to physically get you to touch that wall by any means necessary. It doesn't matter if I stick your head and headbutt you on the wall and give you a concussion. You touch the wall. So now I got to get you to touch that wall. So you work your way up through the TRs, and from fucking shouting at an ashtray for 2 hours, or stand up, you asshole. Sit the fuck down. Honestly, it's just absolute insanity. But yeah, for sure. I mean, hey, what do you think of this jumper that I'm wearing today? Oh yeah, you wore a similar jumper yesterday. Like that. Literally like that.
That's so dumb though. It's like, in what, besides obviously, like, are you expecting every fucking public Scientologist to be in front of the press? So like, what kind of situation would they normally be in that they're gonna choose that route?
Exactly. I mean, you look at Tommy Davis. Tommy Davis would apply that all the time. That TR2. These guys, I mean, David Miscavige applies it with Ted Koppel. All these guys use it. Guys that, like me, worked in Division 6, were told, do not answer their fucking questions. If you want to know why your sign-ups are low and why you're not selling books, it's because you're answering the public's questions. Don't fucking answer their questions. And there would be webinars on it, and there would be lectures on it, and there would be drilling, and you would practice for hours and hours every single day, and you would be hammered and lectured. But that is a key thing. If you want to know why you might talk to them on the street and they don't answer your questions, there's policy and TRs on it. They're just following that. But now that's public knowledge. Now you know if you don't know.
It's now something to add to my notes. All right, hold that thought 1 second. I will be right back.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, look at this grand lobby on the screen. If only you guys fucking knew how much it is to stay at the Fort Harrison and how most people cannot afford to go there. My goodness me. Not even the FABC staff had the luxury of staying in there. Guys that sacrificed 3 years of their life away from their mothers, their dad, their brother and sister, just Jesus. And I love how they just set up all the lighting beautifully, and they've got all the lighting behind the camera. Goodness me. Tut. Do you know what? Just to tell, I don't even know who the fuck's listening to me at this point, but I'm going to speak, right? They actually had a meeting right here in the Fort Harrison very recently, an Ideal Org meeting to try and recruit people for the Ideal Orgs, especially in Scotland. So they have Ideal Org meetings, recruitment meetings, or to enlighten the public in the Fort Harrison. But I just find that so funny. So funny. I mean, Flag now have a whole entire unit dedicated to them.
All right, before I end up having to fucking head to bed in like 20 minutes because I got work in the morning, do you want to see if we can finish this video?
Go for it.
Fully restored to its original grandeur, evoking the building's significance as a Clearwater landmark, as well as its place in Flag's future expansion. Then it's the new auditorium, a venue serving both Flag parishioners as well as the greater Clearwater community. While atop the Fort Harrison, it's yet another local landmark restored, the historic Crystal Ballroom, a room that epitomizes the legendary elegance of the Fort Harrison. As for the accommodations themselves, it's 220 rooms to provide parishioners with a distraction-free stay, the signature of the Flag Religious Retreat.
That room feels more claustrophobic than a hotel.
Yeah.
Like, look how close the bed is to the fucking wall. Like the front wall, not the back wall. Normally the TV is over there.
They've tried to make it look as best as they possibly can with all the lighting.
It looks like it came from my grandma's.
Yeah, it does. It does, literally. Yeah. What the hell's on the TV? I can't even read that. Looks like some just random channel.
Like some cause resurgence shit.
There's a meter. There's a meter right.
Oh, she's doing her solo knots. Fuck off.
All hotel services, too, have been elevated to a new standard of excellence, including the restaurants, offering a range of dining choices for parishioners and their guests. That very much includes a new restaurant opposite the poolside pavilion and overlooking the Fort Harrison Gardens. All told, it's nearly 250,000 square feet fully restored to serve as home to parishioners as they embark upon religious services at Flag. 1 block south of the Fort Harrison, situated on Clearwater Bay, is Flag's new 172,000 square foot Oak Cove, providing an additional 240 rooms for parishioners.
It's like a commercial.
Right? I just picture this as like, as like a late night infomercial that I'd see at like 3 in the morning.
Literally.
But I will say these rooms are at least a little bit
someone's
better.
Trying to sell me some property.
These rooms are a little more spacious.
Yeah, I mean, this one is much better and the view is great. It's just hilarious. It's like someone's trying to sell you some property.
And they're
No, they're trying to sell you a bridge.
Yeah, exactly. And more.
Says my ex-husband would stay at the Fort Harrison all the time when he went to Clearwater. They even did his laundry.
Wow. Wow. Poor Sea Org members, man. Poor Sea Org members.
And Jojo and Kathy are complimenting your chair dancing skills.
Yeah, I'm busted out to the moves, man. I mean, like this music, I can't help it with the music. This music is in every promotional video, even the ones that I used to use to enlighten people on courses and on the bridge. Like, for example, right, the Purification Rundown film has the exact same music as this, and you can't help it, just start busting down and whatnot, because it's just so cheesy to watch. But
they couldn't even make a new soundtrack.
No, it's the same fucking song in every video.
Oh my god.
There are several
20 years.
That's fucking brutal.
He didn't know what to do.
You have an entire Golden Era musician team and you can't fucking figure this shit out?
Oh my god.
More, all put in place to meet the needs of parishioners coming to Flag for religious services. While simultaneous to all else, there is the final construction now underway at the 300,000 square foot new Flag Mecca, a Scientology church like
You're not
no
supposed
other.
to label it a Mecca.
And here's what it will look like.
I feel like that's just... Pardon my French, but they're sucking their own dick at this point.
Yeah, very much so. And this whole scripture religious bollocks is just merely for legal purposes and reasons. That's all it is. Nobody, no staff member, except David Miscavige. David Miscavige said last year at the IS event, this is why we're the best religion in the world. And then he said at the New Year's event, right after the IS event, this is why we are the best religion in the entire planet. Numerous times. And then you've got Tom. Such a shame. Obviously, I'm a film bro, and I'm not speaking about Tom's personal life. I'm speaking about Tom's film career. Massive fan. But Tom gets up and Tom says stuff like, I mean, if you've watched his turtleneck video, and if you've watched the when he won his freedom
I've
medal
spoken
and these
to
kind of
leaders
clips and whatnot.
of leaders, and none of them are.
I've spoken to the leader. Yeah. So I say to you, Sir
Oh
C,
God,
you're
you have it
lucky to have
memorized.
you.
Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah. I mean, I watched it when I was at St. Hill, and I've watched it about 20 times on YouTube. He's the only guy that could get away with fist bumping and bear hugging David Miscavige. No one else could pull that shit off. No one else could. The pause screen looks like it does, Jojo. It does look like a fucking prison, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
I see the cell blocks right over here. Oh my God.
State penitentiary.
I mean, it is, especially if you're down there for like your fucking sec checks.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. That's, right. When someone takes you in session for a sec check or on the meter, if the session's not done, they follow you. That's just how it goes about. That's how it works.
What do you mean?
This is why I want. So I'll tell you right now, this is why I wanted to clear up all the magic tricks and the smoke and mirrors, right? See if you get a sec check. If I take you for a sec check and I'm your auditor, and we don't finish, you say, hey man, it's lunchtime. We should go out and eat, right? And I'm like, okay. And then I put in the note in the worksheets, this is a break, okay? Or maybe someone had written a knowledge report on you, and then we're taking that up, okay? And I take you into ethics or whatever in one of the meter, and I say, okay, start of break, right, on the worksheet, as the auditor would say. You think I'm fucking leaving you alone? Hell no! Bro, wherever you go to eat for lunch, the auditor is next to you. So he'll say, so, where are we going to eat? Because the session's not done. The sec check isn't done, or ethics isn't done. You're still in session. It's the same with on the bridge, right? If you're going up on the bridge and you're going through the grades, or you're on NED, New Aerodynamics, okay, and you're going through the different rundowns, see when the auditor says, right, start of break, he's with you. He might as well be handcuffed to your arm. He's going wherever you're going. You're not allowed to go on FaceTime. He's not allowed to leave you. Wherever you go to eat, he'll come with you. He'll walk out of the org and go to somewhere to eat with you. He will sit next to you when you're eating your food. And then when you say, I'm done, he'll say, all right, cool, let's go back in session. End of break, and then you'll resume. So sec checkers and what they'll follow you if you take a break, or if you're in the middle, they'll follow you to eat, they'll follow you to the bathroom, they'll follow you in the same, they cannot be in a different room to you at all. It's like they're fucking handcuffed.
Oh, if I ever experienced this, I would be fucking with them so badly. I take them to the most random fucking places.
Take them to the mall and just lose them in the crowds. Yeah. Slip out the back door or something.
Be like, I'm making a run. You're coming with me. Let's go.
Oh yeah, for sure. I gotta go to the bathroom or something, and then you just slip out. You go into the elevator or whatever. Yeah. They'd have a panic attack.
The building opens with an epic statement. The 3-story glass atrium will feature representations of the basic beliefs and principles of Scientology depicted in life-size sculpture. This is also where Scientologists
because a play
can
demo
congregate,
wasn't enough.
whether between counseling sessions and courses or introducing their guests and friends to Flag. Directly adjoining the lobby stands the Mecca's Chapel, with Scientology principles presented across 8 stained glass windows. and where all church...
The fact that
Wow.
they put them on stained glass windows, like, that makes them
Yeah,
any
I mean-
more fucking religious.
I know they're just trying to. I mean, they're literally.
Meanwhile-
I mean, talk about copying the Catholic Church and whatnot. I mean, yeah, and you know, the guy that delivers it is called the chaplain, and he would drill and practice his sermons, where he talks about. I mean, it just depends. He might talk about the tone scale. He might talk about PTSSP stuff. He might talk about you know, personal integrity from New Zealand life, whatever. But it is a chapel. It is greatly inspired by the Catholic Church, and it is delivered by the chaplain, and he's rehearsing his sermon, and everyone does the idea of that which takes place, and they call it Sunday service.
Oh yeah, no,
by the
I've
way. It
seen
happens once a
group
week.
processing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's all that is, literally.
But it's the fact that this stuff isn't written in a religious format. Like, I could understand if people put Bible verses on a stained glass window or some shit like that. But the fact that it's just some dude from the 1950s just rambling on his fucking typewriter, and that's what they put on the window, like, what the fuck? Again, like you said, it's like the Sunday services. I think of it as a religious thing. The preacher would be up there, or the priest, bishop, whatever would be saying some scripture or reading something. And meanwhile, this guy is just reading like a fucking high schooler's essay on integrity.
Yeah, you should take a look at how big the Minister book is. It's bigger than OEC Volume 7, the Scientology Minister book. It's a big red book with a cross on it, with the Scientology cross on it. And there's actually a minister course that you can do in Scientology. And so my old AD, Malcolm, and the other guys did the minister course. The prerequisite to doing the minister course is you have to be a Class 4 auditor. But when you do that course, you have to call these guys reverend. So Malcolm, the executive director of Scotland, could sign off dispatches and letters as Rev or Reverend.
That's fucking dumb, dude.
Yeah, they have cards. They would go and they would, you know, because they would say, I'm a minister of Scientology and the religion and whatnot, and I've studied it to such a degree, and I've studied the other. And when you do the minister course, it's a very short course. It's about 4 days part-time on the check sheet. 4 days part-time on the check sheet. Very, very cheap. It's not an expensive course at all. I think it's $300 or something like that. Not the best, obviously, but that's compared to the other ones, it's pretty cheap. And it's about 4 days part-time. But when you do it, you go and you apply to become a legally appointed ordained minister. You get a card showing it, but these guys would like be reverends or be called reverends or sign off letters as Rev or Reverends.
I need to share this because this is fucking stupid. I found a 2001 Scientology minister course in my archive.
Right.
And right here, Great Religions of the World. Just the Gospel according to John. That's it. That's the Great Religions of the
Great
World.
Religions of the World. I'll tell you what, there'll be people will be pissed off when they're missing from that list.
Not the Torah,
literally-
not the fucking Quran.
That's it.
Just
That's
the
literally
Gospel
it.
according to John. Oh my! And it is. It's just that. If you scroll to page 15, it's just. If I scroll down, yeah, it's just the Bible verses.
Oh,
just
come
spit onto the
on.
page to fill up space. And it goes on for like
Such bullshit. I mean, how are you going to claim to be a legally appointed ordained minister? Which, by the way, the usual route for that is to go to university or to go to college and study theology for quite a few years. And that's how you would do it. These guys can go and do it, pay $300, do it in 4 days, learn absolutely jack shit. And then it's like, all right, I'm Reverend now. Call me Rev. What the fuck? What the actual... They don't even have the respect. And this is, again, just L. Ron Hubbard never fails to baffle me, but the fact that you wouldn't Here we go. Here's the fucking drill. But the fact that you wouldn't have the courtesy and respect to go and learn about Judaism and Islam and Buddhism and Hinduism and I mean, I'm just listing off like a few, but there's so many religions to just go and get perspective on and learn. But for you to just go and read this one fucking thing and then be like, hey, call me Reverend now, it's just a bunch of bollocks. Training stress. Training stress is the most important part of the drill. That is the most important part. Per the definition of it, training stress is the most important part that you need to know about doing this drill. Position is, of course, you know, do you stand, do you sit? What is the position of the coach and of the student? Yeah, you've got 3 commands: start, flunk, and that's it. If you say anything else, disregard it. Disregard it. That is the only thing that the coach can say. And I had it many times when I was doing TRs, and the coach would accidentally say, "That's it," you know, and then you would stop, and they'd be like, "Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. So sorry."
I'm just fucking.
Yeah, you've got the purpose, you've got the product. Usually as well on the policies that I was reading on the new Golden Age of Admin packs, it would also give the history of it. Like for the TRs, like L. Ron Hubbard came up with TR0, be there, because the students had such a tough time just looking at their PC. So they had to just, I established in 1952 that they had to be there comfortably themselves for 2 hours before they could confront this PC. So anyway, it kind of broke down the whole history of it and how Ron even fathomed that training drill or whatever. But yeah. Anyway.
It's the fact that he called it catechism. I was Roman Catholic for like the first 16 years of my life. And
right.
It's not fucking catechism is not Scientology's. Fuck you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ceremonies will be conducted, including weddings, naming ceremonies, and Sunday service.
That's what I've been wondering. What is a Scientology marriage ceremony like? I've never actually learned about it. If you know.
I mean, they're super rare. I mean, like everyone that I talked to that was a married couple in Scientology didn't even get married in their own org or whatever. Essentially, see, when you become a minister, like we were just talking about right now, when you do the minister's course, you are a legally appointed minister, ordained minister, and you are a reverend. So you are able, when you do, and David Miscavige did this course, and I know that because it's in Ron Miscavige's book, his dad's book, that David did this course when he was 14 and he could marry people. So you do this course, right? When you do the minister's course, you are able to do funerals, funeral services. You're able to do marriages, Scientology marriages. And you also get like a card as well that shows that you are legally allowed to go ahead and perform this. But yeah, I mean, basically, you know, it's like a normal wedding where you're dressed up and whatnot. The location usually differs depending on the person. It could be it could be at St. Hill. It could be inside of the org. There was a whole thing that happened with that you could read up about in the UK that happened not so long ago. In fact, in our organization, we had a commendation on the wall because we were the first ever UK organization to ever have a wedding inside of the org. So we had a commendation from OSA about that. But you recite very specific words out of that fucking massive red book that I was telling you, the Scientology Minister's book. You recite certain words from there about, and it's the same with the funeral services. You know, it's a bunch of weird shit like, goodbye, my friend, and you are not gone, and I look forward to seeing you in the next life. And so Aaron Hubbard has obviously compiled very, very specific wording as to what you are supposed to say, essentially, when one gets married. But yeah, anyway.
Jojo said, is Reverend Malcolm married with kids? I can't remember if you've said that.
He's not. He's married, and he's been married to Sophia, who's the exec so both of them went to flag for FEBC training. They've been married since, I think, 2008 per her Facebook account. But no, Malcolm doesn't want to have kids, and Sophia doesn't want to have kids. They've put it off because their whole mission and plan is to make Scotland go ideal, and then they've already signed Sea Org contracts, so they're gonna join the Sea Org. And Malcolm wants to go to South Africa and practice Scientology and auditing people in a village.
Wow.
So they've put off the idea of having kids so they can join the Sea Org.
Damn. Do they have any plan as to when they're gonna join, or?
As soon as Scotland goes ideal and it's established.
So at least another 20, 30 years.
Yeah, probably never. Yeah, probably. And that's a whole thing, because in Scientology you can't just leave. You need to get a replacement per policy. So if you're OEC FEBC, you can't just get Joe Blow to replace you. You have to get Joe Blow, the OEC FEBC, to replace you. So what you need to do, since Malcolm is the boss and he runs the entire organization in Scotland, is you need to now get an OEC FEBC ED, executive director, to replace him so that he can then go into the C organization. And they only have one ED when they're supposed to have two, because every ideal org has two EDs, day and foundation, because of the scheduling. So that org is actually in a situation where they need to get two EDs for him to leave, which is just not going to fucking happen.
No.
It's just not going to happen at all.
Wow. I mean, thank God he's based on that. Thank God he's not gonna have to deal with the fucking Sea Org.
Yeah, I mean, he's already on a Sea Org schedule. I mean, he works 110 hours a week every single day. He doesn't have a day off, Malcolm.
I just at least I mean, the ethics are just as bad, but
for sure.
still.
For sure. Yeah.
The ground floor will house the new Public Information Center, with the fundamentals of Dianetics and Scientology brought to life through more than 100 films, complete with up-to-the-minute Scientology news from around the world. And for the full introduction, it will also include a visual tour depicting the full scope of L. Ron Hubbard's humanitarian programs at work across
Fuck
all
you,
sectors
humanitarian
of
my
society,
ass, bitch.
addressing the needs of communities world over. The bookstore reflects Flag's place as the international hub of Scientology.
I'm sorry, is this supposed to look like a futuristic spaceship library?
Looks like it. I mean, I was over that. I was over the BSO. The BSO is a department in the 2nd Division in Dissemination, bookstore officer. But I can tell you, I was just at St. Hill, and I've been to Ideal Orgs. The bookstore's empty. People are not queuing up to buy their lectures and books, I can tell you that.
Here are the works of L. Ron Hubbard, comprising hundreds of books and thousands of recorded lectures, many available in any of 15 major languages. With more than 50,000 square feet devoted to Scientology courses and counseling, the new Mecca building will house 22 course rooms, accommodating the training for more than 1,300 parishioners.
Yeah, 22 course rooms, and at least 21 of them are still going to be empty.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
at a time.
Exactly. I mean, I literally asked a girl not too long ago. These course rooms are just so fucking long as well, and I don't know why. It's just so unnecessary. One girl had to have her hand up in the air for the supervisor for 10 minutes before the supervisor even noticed, and there's supposed to be 3. But they're so fucking unbelievably wide, and it's just empty. Honestly, that's the best way that I could possibly sum up the bookstore and the course rooms. And there's supposed to be a Division 6 course room for you guys, and there's supposed to be an academy course room, and there's supposed to be practical, and there's supposed to be a theory course room, and you're supposed to open it so you can switch the two around as well. They're just fucking empty, man. They're completely empty. It's dead.
What happens if a course period has no students? What does the supervisor do at that point?
There's several things. In our organization, he'd be booted into calling. So he would just be file after file after file, calling students to come in. If the course supervisor allowed that to happen, dude, he'd be nailed. For us, it would be Malcolm that would do that, because Malcolm's the executive director of the ED. He would just come down on you like a ton of bricks, and he would how the fuck did you let this happen where you have not even one student? And he would just be told, fucking fill the course room up. And then Malcolm will like take them outside of the course room and just scream at him in the hallway. But yeah, you'd be nailed for it and you'd be stuck on cleaning or call-in or some other duty.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
There will be another 100,000 square feet devoted to counseling, with a total of 14 more counseling centers in the new Mecca, along with more than 300 individual counseling rooms.
Oh, by the way, see that chair? See that chair
Yeah.
right there? That chair is COB approved. I went to the Parasite Org very recently, just last year, and I got a tour by the president. I sat in that chair. She was like, David Miscavige sits on these chairs and has to approve them because they have to be the best of the best for the auditors. And not just FLAC. The ideal orcs have to have David Miscavige approved chairs. So they're very specific when you sit on them. But I have sat on that chair. But that chair right there is David Miscavige approved. He's personally tested it out and said, good.
Wow. I mean, I knew he was involved at the micro level on everything, but I didn't realize he...
Yeah, and the flag auditors, they have Kairos as well. The flag auditors have, because they're auditing all day, every day, 50 plus hours. So all the flag auditors have chiropractors.
And knowing model session, seeing this shit is even more disturbing because of where the pre-clear is seated related to the auditor. The pre-clear is just shoved into the corner. That's
away from the door.
Furthest away from the door.
And they're drilled on it as well. I mean, you have 8C in body control, and if the PC tries to blow, what do? You physically get him back into the chair. You have all these drills, you know. I also find it really funny how you got all the fucking dictionaries on the left-hand side. Clear your words.
While to cap it all, the final phase of expansion includes construction of the new L. Ron Hubbard Hall. 7 stories tall and embracing an entire city block, its 150,000 square feet will stand as the venue for international Scientology events and will include on-site satellite facilities for instant and global transmission of the latest to the church's worldwide membership. And so it is today, with the Scientology religion expanding in every corner of the globe. The flag land base stands at the center of it all. Scientology's new religious Mecca.
Give me a fucking break.
Ew.
Bloody hell. Tell you, man, those videos take like fucking an hour just to watch.
Fuck that, dude. No, I've said before, if I ever did like join a religion of my own choosing back in like 20, 30 years ago, maybe, I'm gonna be honest, I might have been someone who like fell for the early Scientology shit.
Yeah.
But what's that say? Back in the 60s, LRH said audit courses were supposed to be done in 2 weeks. That's how you could fly through, and there'd be so many auditors made in the image of LRH, quote unquote. This is...
Well, David's changed all of that. You now have to be what's called a flubless auditor. Flubless. You cannot make one mistake. Nope. Flubless. The bar has now gone all the way up fucking there. So it takes you like half a decade, 5 years to become an auditor now.
Yeah, I've watched the GAT stuff, and I just recently found some of the drill packs. I think I found some of the ones for the SHSBC, and then one for OWs.
Oh, right.
And now I can finally have her as my fucking PC for auditing demonstrations. But I know she doesn't want to suffer through it either, but I'm gonna make her. I'll tone 40 her into it. But anyway, all right. I'm gonna have to head to bed because I gotta go to work. But Amir, this was absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy that I got to have you on today. I'm glad you were willing to sit here with me for 3.5 fucking hours. And I hope we can do this again.
Oh yeah, anytime. Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, I mean, I'm very, very easy to reach. So anytime you come up with a brilliant idea or something, or want to reach out to me or talk, you're more than welcome to. I'm a very, very easy guy to reach.
All right. Well, thank you all for chatting and watching, whoever didn't comment. But yeah, thank you for everybody. Thank you, Amir. Like and subscribe. Discord and everything is in my link tree in the description. And I will talk to all of you later. Peace out.